Where are the low-value men?
The hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site. You can believe that. You can believe that. You can believe that.
Contracted COVID, but says with a mixture of medicines, including the controversial horse dewormer that has poisoned hundreds of people nationwide, he's now recovered.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
From the headlines to the whisper start. Low value mail. Low value mail at 9 o'clock. We're truth fiction. Take a walk.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon? You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Our stories are.
And we're back. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new episode of Low Value Mail. On this, it's December already. Monday, December 1st, 2025. 2025 is 11/12 over. We got a brand new episode. It's episode number 167. I hope you all had a lovely Thanksgiving. For the Americans. For the rest of you, you can eat shit, all of you. No, I'm kidding. Welcome back, though. We got another episode of Open Lines tonight. Apologies, we had a guest. He had to cancel last minute. So we're doing Open Lines all show. Looking at my hair, it looks okay. Sometimes it just you get like a weird thing and it looks weird. But yeah. Doing Open Lines tonight. Lot to talk about the last couple weeks. Starting no episode last week with the holidays. We had to record the Boys Cast on Monday, and I ended up leaving on Tuesday. It was a whole thing. Good news, though. I'm in town for all of December, so we will have episodes for the next up until right before Christmas. I'm here the whole time, so we got that going for us. And as always, once phone lines are open, anything you want to talk about, it's open lines. Just don't be boring. Hopefully a new episode of The Bathhouse tomorrow night as well. We shall be returning. That's my hope. The Green Room is not available tomorrow night. Jeff Dye is in town, and he's doing a show at the Stand. So we're just waiting to hear back about whether the studio is available. So cross your fingers for that. And if you'd like to support the show, you could do so. Like the stream. Sharing with a friend, although many of you told me in person, you go, I can't share this with people I know. Cowards. And leave a comment, like the stream, all that stuff, or you can go to patreon.com/lowvaluemail, MAIL, $5 a month. It's all good. And please vote on the poll that I put up, because it's interesting. I was going through all the analytics the last week, and looking at the shows, and for some reason, because I obviously try my best to get good guests, but I'll be honest with you, we're all pals, we're all scrotes in Christ. There are some guests sometimes that I have on where I go, I don't give a shit about this, or like I don't want to talk about aliens for the fucking 9th week in a row. So, but I do the guests. The guests, I find we do have some interesting guests for sure. But anyways, the analytics show that you guys actually seem to like the Open Lines episodes more. They get more views, more retention, all the stuff of for some reason. I don't know. So I'm just curious what you think. So go vote in the poll whether you like Open Lines episodes only, guest episodes every week, or the occasional guest episode. And let me know what you think. There's a lot to talk about this week. We got a lot happening since the last episode. The FDA came out with this COVID memo. Thought we were done talking about COVID. We got Venezuela. We got Trump is fucking on one. He's been on one, but he's also on one. Basically saying that anything that Joe Biden signed with the auto pen essentially rescinded. He's calling people stupid. He's calling people fat. He's basically Don Rickles. If Don Rickles was the president of the United States of America, That's who you got. We have the Minnesota Somali fraud scandal. Candace Owens is now saying France had Charlie Kirk killed. I didn't get a chance. I think she's streaming right now, or maybe she just finished her stream. I don't know. But basically, she's saying some wild shit. Hold on a second. I'm retarded. I didn't start the Zoom thing, so we can't take any calls. And we got, of course, Gerard, our faithful. It's crazy. I do this every week. Every week I do this, mostly every week, and I still just forget shit. I'll still just forget to do certain things. Why? I don't know. There's something wrong with my brain. Maybe I have long COVID. Is that possible? Is it possible that I have long COVID? I don't know. It's certainly possible. Hold on, let me just set something up here so that you guys aren't all unmuted when you come in like a bunch of lunatics. And of course, any super chats you want to drop, I'll read those on the show. All right, we're all set here. I don't know how I forgot to do that, but it's always something. I need a producer in the studio. That would make my life a lot easier, but it's never going to happen, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, Candace Owens is saying France had Charlie Kirk killed. I know last week she was saying that the French were trying to have her killed with the help of a single Israeli. Now, I don't follow. I'm sure some of you watch Candace Owens. I don't really watch Candace Owens. Can someone tell me, though? Because she's been making a lot of claims since September 10th when Charlie Kirk was killed. She's been generally making a lot of claims. That's kind of the business she's in, is just saying wild shit. More power to her. Has anything been confirmed that she said? Has she been right about a single thing? Like, has there been one thing where you go, Candace Owens nailed that? We can't believe it. She broke it open. Because she says tons of wild shit, which seems like a good business model for her. I should maybe start saying more wild shit. Maybe that's what's holding the show back, is I don't say enough unfounded, unsubstantiated nonsense. But that's what she's saying now, is that France had something to do with Charlie Kirk being killed, which I didn't know the French got down like that, but maybe they do. And I'm not even saying that she's wrong. All I'm saying is, of all of her claims, has a single one been substantiated? Interesting thing, by the way, if you guys remember John Cullen, who was on this show shortly after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he was talking about there was these like spy planes and all this stuff. If you know John Cullen, he did all the work on the Las Vegas shooting, and he was on this show. And I hadn't really noticed it because he tweeted a lot. He was a guy, he was tweeting all the time. And apparently he's just disappeared. The guy has, let me just confirm this, because there were people who were like, we were trying to reach out to him. We can't get a hold of him. Yeah, like if you type in John Cullen, literally John Cullen missing is one of the things that comes up on Twitter. So he hasn't tweeted since October 12th, which was around when he was on the show, I believe. Something like that. But he's just disappeared. He has completely disappeared. Just dropped. And, he was tweeting 50 times a day. Oddly, if you check on Twitter where you say, the account based in thing, the new Twitter feature, it says his account is based in Hong Kong. However, he may be using a VPN or some sort of proxy, which is also odd because I was under the impression that he lived in the United States of America. But anyways, he was all into the Charlie Kirk stuff, saying like there was all these, remember all the spy planes and everything, all that shit. And now he's just disappeared. The guy's gone. I don't know what happened to him. So that's an interesting wrinkle. But anyways, you guys can call in. If you follow the Candace Owens stuff, if you watch her streams, let me know. Because I don't, but I see her on Twitter and I go, has one of these things been substantiated? Or is her whole thing just says wild shit all the time? just constantly saying just wild ass shit. And that's what it is. All right. So let's go to this FDA COVID thing. I'm sure some of you have followed this. A bombshell internal FDA memo that's been making the rounds found that at least 10 children died following the COVID vaccine. Now I'm just asking questions. I'm just noticing, if you will. The first country to make a link between the COVID vaccine and myocarditis in 2021 was, of course, Israel. Do with that what you would like. Do with it what you would like. I'm not making any claims. I'm just noticing that in 2021, Israel was like, hey, these vaccines are making people's hearts fucking explode. And look, everybody pretty early on knew that COVID didn't affect children. I think that was pretty early. I mean, I'll never forget in the kind of 2020, all the craziness. I was holed up in Miami waiting for things to reopen in New York. I was down there for a few months, like March to June. And 60 Minutes did some segment on COVID. And it was like, these are all the people, we were interviewing all these people who lost a loved one to COVID so far. And they interviewed 10 people, and they're all like, my sister died, my husband, my wife, whatever. And all of them were like 500 pounds. Every single one of them. I remember seeing that. I go, that's weird. All of them, they were all, so essentially, pretty early on, if you had eyes and ears, you're like, yeah, so it's incredibly unhealthy people, the elderly, but we knew children were fine. I don't think anybody was ever like, yeah, kids are really at risk. I'm sure there were some people who were saying that, especially in the government, but like you and I knew that kids were probably fine. They had, pretty good immune systems. I mean, the government knew. Again, you knew. We all knew this. Now, I'm not even necessarily against them having rushed out a vaccine for, say, people over the age of 65 when you just think of a risk-reward scenario here, right? Because those people were at a higher risk. And most importantly, they're adults and they can make their own decisions, right? Like if you're 65 years old and you go, look, I'm scared of this thing and I don't care. I'm willing to take a risk of my fucking heart exploding because I want this vaccine. You go, okay, that's fine. You're an adult. This is a free country. You should be allowed to make that decision for yourself. Forcing children to take this shit, obviously, not a good move. The VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, showed that 12 to 16-year-olds died the most among all children 0 to 16-year-old. They were the ones who were most affected. I saw a stat, 15% of the 230 children that were reported to have died, and this was internationally, this wasn't just in the United States, 15% of the 230 children that were reported to have died had taken the COVID vaccine within 24 hours of dying. Now, that's hard to think anything else caused those deaths, in those specific cases, right? Like, it's just, that's common sense. You took this experimental vaccine and you're dead within 24 hours? I mean, that's what I would think. I think that's what their parents probably thought, except they probably were like, but Fauci would never do me wrong. It must be something else. It must be something else. Crazy, too, because the CDC website, if you go to it right now, it still says COVID vaccines are safe for children. Now, we're in a new administration. They have a lot on their plate. Maybe they haven't gone around to updating the stuff because, obviously RFK Jr., not a big fan of the vaccines. So maybe they just haven't got around to it. But the CDC's website still says COVID vaccines for children, take them. Take them. And, again, from a probability standpoint, that probably is true for 99.9% of them. I don't know anyone I'm trying to think. Do I know anyone who died during... Actually, you know what? I do know. I know one comedian who I'm not going to say his name. He was a Canadian comedian from Toronto. You could probably figure this out pretty easily. Good dude. I liked him a lot. It was very sad. But he just, in his 30s, this must have been 3 years ago, just had a heart attack, died in his sleep. And he wasn't overweight. He was like skinny. I don't know if he had any pre-existing health conditions. I didn't know him like that. I don't think he did. But that was the first time where I was like, I really wonder if that is related. Because, you know, he was definitely, I guess you could say, a liberal comedian in the sense where probably loved the vaccine just to fucking own the conservatives. A real Trudeau type, if you will. And I don't want to speak ill of the dead. It's not something I do. It's not something I like to do. But that was the first one. But for the most part, you know, a lot of people taking the vaccine. I mean, I know a lot of people who took the vaccine. I don't know anybody who had any issues. Now, again, my heart could explode at any moment. I'm sure lots of people's could. I will say I'd hate to be the child of someone with Trump derangement syndrome, because they're going to read this memo and they're going to be like, yeah, my kids they're getting the vaccine. The booster, the day they are eligible, I don't know what it is, every 6 months, every year, they're getting it. Because fuck Trump, right? Even though it was his vaccine that we're all taking. Fuck the guy. He's orange. He is orange. And, you know, the question that a lot of you care about, myself included, probably what most people want to know, is anything going to happen from this information coming out? Are we going to get some sort of Nuremberg type trial? Anything? Probably not. I don't know if I'm just so demoralized, but probably not. The FDA commissioner said the agency would no longer rubber stamp new products that don't work, claiming it made a mockery of science. That's good, I suppose. That is a good thing. But again, the problem here is the Democrats get back in power. They just undo all this stuff, right? Like in this country, it just kind of ping-pongs back and forth between parties where everybody just comes in and just undoes the stuff from the previous guy. Well, I was going to say or gal, but God forbid we ever get a woman president in this country. Not God forbid, actually. Hopefully we never get a woman president. You know what I'm saying? But the question is, will anybody held accountable for these deaths? These minimum of 10 children who died during COVID, and everything else that happened during COVID for that matter. But again, I'm a demoralized man. So my feeling is no, nothing is going to happen here. I can tell you for a fact, all this shit definitely does cause people to distrust all sorts of modern medicine, which is a separate issue in and of itself. I've spoken about this before, but there's this guy I've seen on TikTok who had this massive tumor, and he's a Christian man, a God-fearing Christian man. Definitely did not trust, probably was an anti-vaxxer COVID guy, got cancer, then decided I'm going to go on a 40-day water fast to beat my cancer, because that's what he had decided was the best thing to do. After the 40 days, he reported that he had a bowel movement and he shit out his tumor. He goes, you wouldn't believe it. 40 days, I shit my tumor out. Then he goes to the hospital to go see his doctor, his oncologist. The oncologist is like, yeah, your tumor is like 3 times the size of what it was 40 days ago, and you are currently dying, and you are going to die, and it's probably too late to do anything now. So, could be seeing a lot of that. And again, if that's what you want to do, that is your right. That is your right. It's a free country. It is a free country. Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, the owner of the LA Times, he's some big biotech guy, billionaire dude. He used to own, I think, or he still owns a part of the Lakers, I'm not sure. He did this interview with Chris Cuomo on News Nation that I watched on my flight yesterday. And he's saying that he has a lot of evidence that the COVID vaccines are actually causing cancer. Who could have seen that coming, huh? But again, is anything going to come of this? Fauci got an auto pen pardon from Biden because, a lot of people want to see Fauci on trial. I don't know if we'll, again, see anything coming of that. I know Trump is looking to nullify any sort of decree by Biden, basically claiming that he didn't know what he was doing. Maybe that could happen. Fauci trial would be sick. That would be the biggest trial in the history of this country, by far. That would be, mandatory TV right there. We would all be tuning in for the Fauci trial. Every single one of us. I don't think it's going to happen. I would say the likelihood of that's pretty low, but man, a Fauci trial would be great. Really, at what point do we just concede that the people running this country, or any country for that matter, they're just not the best and the brightest, and there's just nothing we can do about it. Just, again, and I know that a lot of people are like, why are you giving up? That's no way to think about things, just being apathetic. But it does feel that way. The head of the FDA, Dr. Marty Makary, he was on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He said, and I've never even heard of this, he said, and this is the head of the FDA, said that AIDS and Lyme disease were both created in a lab. Which, if that's true, especially the AIDS one, man, we owe that poor guy who everyone said fucked a monkey in the 80s. We owe that guy an apology. Okay? We need to find that guy. He's probably dead because he was like, patient 0 of AIDS. But damn, everybody thought that dude fucked a monkey. Literally, everybody thought that dude went to Africa, had a few too many drinks, was feeling a little randy, saw a monkey, and he goes, that'll do. That'll do. And he fucked a monkey, and that's how everybody got AIDS. That's what they were saying. So we owe that guy an apology. But the Lyme disease thing is crazy because apparently they were like working on you can look this up. Go look at Marty Makary, Patrick Bet-David. He was basically saying there was like a lab on Long Island who developed Lyme disease, and then the first case of Lyme disease happened like 25 miles away. It's similar to the Wuhan thing where you go, what are the odds? What are the odds? I don't know. I don't know what the odds are, but it's certainly interesting. It is certainly interesting. I'm going to talk about a few more things, but I'm going to open the phone lines in the meantime so that you guys can get on hold. And we got Gerard answering the phones for you. There we go. Phone lines are open. Look at that. Look at that. And now they're saying with the Lyme disease thing is people are getting this bitten by a certain tick, and then you eat meat and you can't eat meat, and then some people are dying from eating meat. What the hell are they doing to us? We're all just their guinea pigs. They just do whatever the fuck they want. There's nothing we can do about it. And that's the thing. This is the country where everyone has guns. You go, we got the Second Amendment here. Everybody's got guns. Let's do something about it. Still can't do anything about it. Venezuela. I've been talking about this a bit. The U.S.-Venezuela conflict appears to be heating up, with reports that Trump called President Maduro and told him to step down or else. A little regime change action. Look at that. I thought we weren't doing that, but I guess we are. And, the Trump's administration's defense is that they're bringing all these drugs into the country. People are saying that's not true. We had a caller a few weeks ago calling in. He's a Venezuelan American listener of this show. Who essentially confirmed that the Venezuelan regime is heavily involved in the drug business. The big scandal right now is Secretary of War Pete Hegseth being accused of war crimes for a follow-up strike on a drug boat where people were injured in the initial strike. And then I guess they're like kind of dangling off the side of this burning boat, and then he just goes again, hit them again, which apparently is a war crime. Can't do that. When someone's injured, you can't do that. I went and Googled or, asked Grok when the last time any sort of government official in the United States was charged with a war crime. Last one was 1971, related to the Vietnam War. Some guy who killed a bunch of people. Nothing happened. His case was dismissed. So people are like, he's doing a war crime. You're like, so the fuck what? Who cares? Nobody cares. Like the degree to which nobody gives a shit about any of this. Somewhat fascinating, I guess. And again, I don't know if it's the Trump administration. They're just doing so many different things simultaneously. There's so many spinning plates in the air that it's just difficult to focus on a single one. Like you really have to be like, this is the thing I care about. And are you going to pick Venezuelan drug boats when there's so many other things going on? He's really flooding the zone with shit. But it is looking, Polymarket has the odds of a U.S. Venezuela military engagement 67% by March. So it's looking like there might be some boots on the ground at some point in Venezuela in the near future. And I'm not dying for Venezuela. Okay? My kids aren't dying for Venezuela. I'm not dying for Venezuela. I don't have any kids. Okay? But I'm not. And the phone lines are open. 1-888-949-2969. And then one last thing. I was going to talk about the Somalia fraud thing, but there's the Minnesota fraud of being done by Somalis, which is a very interesting story. Tim Walz, and I quote Donald Trump, is a retard. And the reporters asked him, they go, do you think that Tim Walz is a retard? And he goes, yes. Yes, I do. But speaking of all the shit Trump is up to, David Gentile, maybe it's Gentile, spelled Gentile, funny name. Couldn't find an early life section on him. Because if the guy's name is David Gentile and he's Jewish, I might have to cancel this show. I might have to just be like, that's just too funny. Too funny. A convicted fraudster released from prison 2 weeks into his 7-year prison sentence a few days ago. The guy's convicted of running a $1.6 billion scheme that defrauded thousands of victims. Many of the victims just normal people. These aren't like some big hedge funds. These are just normal people, had their entire life savings with this guy, defrauds them all. Trump didn't pardon him. He commuted his sentence, similar to George Santos. Just says, you know what? He's served enough time. He's done enough time. He was in jail for literally 2 weeks of a 7-year sentence, and just says he's free to go home. Now, you know, not to be one of these no kings guys, but that is a kind of a thing kings do, where they just go, yeah, there's just, I like the cut of this guy's jib, so let's just let him out of jail. Whatever happened to draining the swamp? Seems like pretty swamp-like behavior. Now, again, I don't know the reasoning why. He essentially said that they were saying this guy was doing a Ponzi scheme, and he's like, well, no, some of the investors knew about the risks, and he was unfairly targeted. Likely you dig into this and you go, yeah, someone in that guy's circle donated a shit ton of money to Trump. But again, this is just the kind of shit that's going on. If Biden did this, we'd be fucking freaking out. David Gentile. We'll go with Gentile. Let's go with Gentile. All right, let's take some calls. Poison1553 says, Danny, do you think when Trump leaves office, he's going to write a new book about how easy it is to be president and everyone else just sucked? I don't know if we're getting a book. I mean, the thing is, if we're getting a book from Trump, you know he didn't write it. That's for sure. 0% chance that a Trump book comes out and you go, this guy actually wrote it. Seems hard to believe. Seems very, very hard to believe. Before I take some calls, like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to do that. If you're an audio listener, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, especially if you're a Spotify listener. If you're a Spotify listener, follow the Spotify page for this. Spotify has assured me that it will help with the distribution of this podcast if more people follow it. So hit the follow button on Spotify. And again, if you like the show, you want to support it, you can tell a friend, which I know most of you are just cowards and will not do that. Or patreon.com/low-value MAIL. You get all ad-free episodes. It's a fun time. Okay. Let's go to the phone lines. And the phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. First call, we're going to go to Minneapolis. Let's see if we have any inside scoop into this fraud scandal with this retard Tim Walz. Trump's words, not mine. Hello, you're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with? Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. Who am I speaking with?
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure if I connected. Yeah, this is Abdul.
Abdul. How's it going, Abdul?
Yeah, long time fan. Calling from Minneapolis.
Abdul, are you Somali by chance?
I am.
Interesting.
I've been here since '96.
Interesting. So how do you feel about everything that's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota right now? What's your take on this? Is there anything people are getting wrong?
My take is that there's like a few dishonest individuals. I don't know how, like maybe 20 or so, and they did some really serious, crazy fraud. And there was like a couple of white people in there too, and to like demonize like thousands of other people, like everyday Somalis who are like going to school, or you know your local grandma. It's
sure,
like, it's crazy. Like
yeah. Do you get annoyed when people refer to you as Somalian? Because I know people go, it's not. There's no Somalians. It's Somalis.
Well, they part of that people didn't know. Like they didn't, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
You know, so that didn't really annoy me as much. But
so you're basically saying
when I first came,
yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying. So you're basically saying that you're getting villainized. The whole entire Somali community is getting villainized for the deeds of some bad apples.
Yeah, and a lot of the crime things, the crime's out of control. It's basically like some teenagers who are like spoiled. A lot of them are like they need to be punished. But why are we being vandalized? Like we're such a small, like I don't know what the number of like. There's like 5 million plus people in Minnesota. Like I think like over 80% or something. This is a very white state.
Yeah,
like you have to understand. Like still a very, very white state. Minnesota. When you think of Minnesota, you think of white.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all like super concentrated because of white flight.
Mm-hmm.
We're like very concentrated in like a very small space. So it can seem like for someone who comes on visit, it can seem like we're everywhere, but I just think it's like it's like that guy. I want to complain about the Goob. I mean, he's been really awful, like just demonizing an entire group of like of the trans community for something that apparently happened to him. One time he got into a scuffle or something. Like
he got tricked.
She
looked like a real woman.
I'm sorry?
I said he got tricked. She looked like a real woman.
I don't remember the story. But
no,
my point is like
that wasn't the story. He's just saying they want you dead, and he's on the line, so we'll get his side of it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's ruining your show personally. He's not adding. I mean, you can put him on if you want. He's coming in with like real hate, and like he's demonizing. And I think what he's doing is dangerous. This is my opinion.
Yeah,
he's demonizing an entire group of people who every interaction I've had with trans people has been totally normal. Like, you know what I mean? And he's like, they need to be assaulted. They need to be confronted. The least thing he will say about them is that if you see them walking down the street, harass them. Yeah. I hope you're not endorsing what he's saying.
No, I don't endorse. I don't endorse harassing anybody. I don't think that solves any problems. He's coming at it from a very like ideological standpoint, but no, I don't agree with him because again, I don't know his interactions with trans people either. But I've had many interactions with trans people. I've never had any issues. I've never left an interaction being like, oh, these people are crazy. Now, obviously, in the general, with all the stuff that was going on culturally, I know people were like, this is a little much. But again, on an individual level, no, I've never had any problems, and I've never been scared of a trans person. you know, especially living in New York City, you take the subway here.
Yeah.
They are everywhere. Are there any trans Somalis? Do you have any in the Somali community?
I've never met one.
No.
That would be a first for me. That's when I'm gonna go. That's when I'm gonna go. Wow, I've seen everything. I mean, you know, I mean, I've never met one. I don't think I've met a couple of. Well, I've met the lesbian who was Somali. She basically she's like a dude. She has very short hair. She's actually a family friend.
Okay. And how do
she's like a relative, like not a very close relative.
Yeah, and how do Somalis are Somalis accepting of, at least in America, of like, you know, a lesbian or like you know any gay Somalis men?
Oh no. We're in this respect, we're very much like the black community. It's like we don't play that gay shit. You know what I mean?
There's, you know what? It's crazy though, because I guess it's a New York.
No.
It's a New York. It's like a New York City thing, because you see in New York City, you see so many like hood gay black guys. Like you see them all the time, and obviously maybe they come here because they're like, this is where they can be accepted, and they just have to. But like, it's a common sight here. I do often think
we have plenty of that. We have plenty of.
Yeah, but just not.
We have
Somali.
plenty of black trans people. Not. I haven't seen a Somali one. Yeah.
No. Interesting. Yeah, I wondered about that. I guess you guys are all Muslim though, right? So there's like an added element.
Yeah.
Well.
We're the only country that's like 100% Muslim.
Right.
We're like very homogenous in that respect. Yeah, but I don't see one of my perspective on the crime that was going on here.
Yeah.
It is that point I might have to, like, that's one thing I'll have to concede on, like what the Republicans are saying, where after COVID, the laws over here are basically a law enforcement situation here has really deteriorated. I mean, it's not good. It's not being over. It's not really being overhyped. I mean,
essentially, defunding the police was a bad idea. Yeah,
but I do think.
I was just gonna say defunding the police was a bad idea.
I think that. A lot. Minneapolis, in particular, lost a lot of people to retirement. And the Minneapolis Police Department is like a shell of its former self. So now when you call cops, like sometimes they won't even come.
Really?
Like there have been complaints, but they don't even pick up they don't pick up the phone.
Jesus.
Sometimes they don't pick up the phone.
Sounds like you'd be happy to have Derek Chauvin show up. Yeah.
They're severely understaffed. That's what's going on. How can they stop crime if they're not staffed? Like they lost a lot of people. They're like, I think they're like 60. I don't know what the percentage is, but they lost like a shit ton. You can look this up. They lost like a shit ton of people due to. So homelessness is way, way up. It's very visible. Drug use and the livability crime, that's like way, 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 way up. Just a general sense of like safety, that's really has gone way, way down. Yeah. But I will say this one thing. It concentrated mostly to certain areas of the city. I will say the majority of cities is fine. Not perfect, but just fine.
But fine.
But
certain areas are very bad.
Oh my God! Certain areas are like, it's like zombie land, basically. Like,
and now does that?
I'm not exaggerating. Needles everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole works.
Does that include the Somali areas or no?
I don't go there so much anymore, but those are low-income areas. Those are low income areas. So I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah, but generally low income areas, regardless of race, are generally the higher crime areas anywhere.
Yeah,
there is a correlation there.
I'll add people outside of Minneapolis. You need to keep this in mind. we have a lot of urban Native Americans here, and they are the number one by far in terms of drug use and anything drug related.
Did you say urban Native Americans?
Yeah, we have.
How do you?
We have the number one population. Yeah.
What do you mean?
A lot of people don't know this, but
what do you mean urban? Like they're just Native Indian?
Yeah, we are the number one in America in Native Americans who live in an urban. Everywhere else, they're going to be in the rural.
Right. Or
so
like
we have
reserves.
a very.
I mean, Canada is the same thing. Canada is the highest population, way overrepresented in prisons is the native population, like by a lot.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
this is term from a book. It's called "The Wretched of the Earth." I mean, Native Americans they die very young over here. Their kids. I mean, if you're born Native American and you're in Minneapolis, your life is basically fucked. I don't know if I can swear in the.
Yo, you can swear. Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can.
I found them. Here's my perspective. I'm looking at these immigrants, and within a couple of decades, we're passing them by. We're becoming doctors. We're becoming nurses. Black Americans basically stagnant. Yeah. But immigrants, I'll tell you this about the immigrants. And I mean, the ones that come here are the ones who make it out. We got the hustle in. It's in us,
Of course.
We like to move. Yeah.
Well, that's generally the case. Yeah.
Yeah. One very funny tidbit I have for you about the Somali community is the infighting, which is so funny. There's very bitter clan rivalry.
Like from back home?
I heard that. I'm sorry. At home in Somalia and in here too. They carry it over.
Yeah, they carry it over. Like the blood feuds, they bring them over.
Yeah. There's a guy who ran for mayor in the November election. He lost. I heard a lot of people, a lot of Somalis did not vote for him, and that's the reason why he lost. And I asked my mom, I was like, hey, is that true? Like, he's from a different clan? My mom was like, yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, I didn't vote for him. Yeah, I was dying laughing because I was like, why? Because she's like, she said, yeah, he's from our rival clan. I was like, Mom, we could have had him our first Somali American mayor. She was like, fuck him. And I thought it was so funny. Then I checked on YouTube. I was like, on the celebration, the guy who won the mayor for re-election, the white guy.
Yeah,
he had all these Somalis celebrating with him in the victory. I was like, oh my God, they carried us back to America. Yeah. I was like, we could. And also the same that guy who ran for mayor, he's from the same clan as Ilhan Omar. And now it makes sense to me. Every time I used to ask my mom about Ilhan Omar, she was like, "Fuck Ilhan Omar. I hate that bitch."
Right.
And I never understood it. And now I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so funny."
Now I have a question, and I got a question. Then I got to let you go. So your generation, how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 44.
44.
But I've been for a while.
Yeah. So does your generation care about this clan rivalry shit, or is that just the generation above you? Like, would you have any?
Oh no,
you don't give a shit.
No, our young people, we don't give one iota about this stuff. That's the stuff that they're carried over. That's what my mom grew up on. I don't know that stuff. I came as a kid. I grew up on American TV. I don't care about any of it.
Yeah, you don't.
Like my mom grew up on that stuff. You know what I mean? Like from a very early age on,
Right.
So
I guess the point I'm making is generally like, the first generation or whatever, you guys assimilate pretty well. You're like, we don't care about this old country bullshit, but you'll never take it away from the people who like lived that for most of their life.
No, I have to understand that's what she's coming from. And she's way more religious than me. I get it. I mean, when she came here, she was already a fully formed adult.
Right.
So, but I'm not like, but there's people younger than me who are like fully American. I consider myself like 50-50. I'm half in the old world, half over here. Like I I'm never gonna fit in here 100%. But also, like, I fully remember what it's like back home and everything. So I do consider myself I'm always gonna be like foreign born, always. I'm not I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get it.
Yeah, of course. Cool, man. Well, thank you for calling in. That was very interesting. Appreciate it, Abdul.
Thanks for
Abdul, everybody. Getting a Somali perspective from Minneapolis. Very interesting. Now let's go to Goob. Let's see what Goob has to say. Let him defend himself. Let's let him defend it. Goob!
What's up, Danny?
How's it going?
How's it going?
Catching some strays, Goob.
That was beautiful. I mean, my hater being a tranny-loving Somali, I couldn't possibly ask for anything more.
Yeah, man.
That was incredible.
People say they're not assimilating. It sounds like he's assimilating just fine, actually.
But so on a serious note, though, Danny, because I want to cram in as much stuff as I possibly can. You were talking about, is anything going to happen? You don't believe anything's going to happen with the COVID stuff. You're absolutely right. And the thing is, your demoralization is the point. That was the entire point of what I was going to call in about tonight. So it's perfect that you were talking about how demoralized you are. It should be transparently obvious to everyone at this point that Israel does in fact run our country. And this plan to take over our country and build this new world order has been in motion for the last 100 years. They have
even before Israel existed.
They have put so much effort into demoralizing this population because the reality is that the people truly do have the power. It's obviously coming from our media. It's coming from the dumbing down of schools. If you remember last time I was a guest on the show, I talked about how, the destruction of production and the destruction of traditional architecture has a very powerful effect of separating you from reality and demoralizing you. If your contribution to society is spreadsheets and Uber Eats, right? And there's all this ugly, made with flimsy material, architecture around you instead of these grand buildings, that has a very powerful effect. And so they've been working on this for so very long. They've spent billions and billions of dollars in propaganda to demoralize us, to buy our politicians, to buy our judges, etc. And it's all for the point of demoralization because, again, the people truly do have the power. They're only able to do these things because we allow them. Now, because they've been working so hard to set this up for so long, they have set up many layers of defense for themselves between the lawfare, owning the media, etc. But the number one thing that they have going for them, the number one thing that stops the right and the white from actually doing anything is Trantifa, right? Even look at when the Muslims in Michigan, right, that recent conflict, who was there to defend them? It was Trantifa. They are there anytime the white and the right try and stand up and say anything, and they beat them down. They are the left's warriors. They are their army.
Yeah.
And so they need to be dismantled first so that the right can actually, do some things and show their, go out into the streets
they're the ones,
and stand up and fight for things.
If you look like in New York City on the weekend, I believe, maybe Friday or something, there was this like ICE came to town kind of thing. And there was all these people, and it's all just the same kind of characters, all the pro-Palestine people, all the transgender people. They've
right.
This is their new cause is defending people against deportation, essentially, and they're just onto a new.
Well, it's they take up any and every cause, right? That's my entire point. And so the right is, pushed out of the streets. They're pushed out of the conversation because, again, the average person just wants to keep their head down, go, get home from work safely without getting punched in the face, either figuratively or literally. The same thing with cancel culture, right? People getting fired from their jobs. It's all to, suppress the rise of heroes, suppress, men being men. And that's what literally everything is for. There's all these lies they tell that don't even make any sense. You've talked about this on your show a few times before. And the point is demoralization. It's not to convince you of these things. It's all about demoralization. And that is why Trantifa needs to be disassembled first. And the way to do that is by targeting the trannies and dismantling the tranny menace. If you can disassemble, this whole narrative around the trannies, and you can show people that, there are people willing to stand up for the truth and what's right and reality, and they're willing to fight back. And the trannies are a very small group, and they have been propped up with power, but they don't actually truly have any power of their own. It's all fully just granted to them by this illusion that society has been living under, right? And so that is the first thing that needs to be dismantled, and that will effectively also go a long way to dismantling Antifa itself. And once that momentum starts, it'll be easier and easier to keep pushing. People will become braver. There's something also like, people think, because I talk about how people are sheep, they just want to keep their head down and go, get home from work without getting punched.
Yeah.
And so people have this mistaken idea that like the sheep are passive and that they aren't violent and they have no capacity for violence. They have an almost unlimited capacity for the most brutal of violence, right?
Maybe they have in the past.
Antifa themselves.
I mean, I haven't seen anything.
No, they still do. Antifa themselves are the sheep.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is the power dynamics determine where that violence of the normies gets directed. And the left has been dominating these power dynamics. And so the right has to take back those power dynamics. And the way to do that, you said I'm coming at this from an ideological standpoint. I'm not. I'm coming at it from a purely practical standpoint. I know that these are, I've got limited time to express my ideas here. But this is all broken down. I forget what expression I used before, but the 80-20 rule, right? Like I've broken this down to how to get the most results from the least amount of effort and where to start first. This is all deep group psychology understanding that's gone into this. And this is the path that the right and the white needs to take in order to regain a bit of sanity in this country, to break down some of those defenses of the Jews, right? And so we can't deal with, like, Israel runs our country. What are we supposed to do about that? We can't do anything about that, right? Our own country is insane. We can't go eliminate some other country. Like, that's just not even possible. So you have to start at the bottom. You have to bring back sanity to our country. We have to deal with the Muslims. We have to deal with these other issues. And then the momentum of the people shifts and things change. The people truly do have the power, but the people have been demoralized, again, through the destruction of architecture, through all of these different means. I mean, the Jews have been attacking from every possible angle they can, lowering testosterone, the health guidelines where
the Jews lowering testosterone is
marshmallow cereals are 4 times healthier than steaks, right? Like they want you fat, they want you low testosterone, they want you weak and dependent, and they've been working very, very hard to do that. And the reason they've worked so desperately hard to do that is, again, because the people have the power. So people need to understand. And now, are you coming at this from balls?
Yeah, are you coming at this from like, we need to vote for, we need a candidate that can do this? Like how exactly?
No. I'm saying the people. But like,
what does this look like? I guess is my question here.
Well, it looks like making bullying great again.
Okay.
Standing up against the freaks, right? Confronting them, pushing them back. We have to dismantle the tranny menace. In the streets, if people are, anytime they see a tranny, confronting them, and especially anytime they're seeing Antifa and tranny Antifa, and they're getting in physical confrontations with these very weak people, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like, again, the right doesn't fight back.
Some of them are biological men.
Not out of incapability.
Yeah.
And then the sheep, they see, the right is willing to punch me in the face too. Now they're less willing to go out into the streets and fight on the side of the left. And then that continues to shift, and those sheep become warriors of the right. This is how these things work. It's all about power dynamics, right?
Yeah.
And so I forget what I was saying a minute ago, but I had another point to make.
Just how
you're escaping me at the moment.
I don't know, just something along the lines of how you're gonna,
but yeah,
how they're gonna rise up against the Jews, making everybody low T.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but do you ever think about the fact that this country, at the end of the day, does lean more liberal? So, like generally, probably, if you force people to pick a side, you're not allowed to be an independent. Like the country would
because of
the country's general
because of
state
overwhelming
is,
propaganda and demoralization campaigns and all of this stuff, right? And so the right and the white need to stand up. They need to grow some balls. Oh, that my other point was that, you know, when I said that these things needed to happen very seriously immediately after Charlie Kirk's death, I meant it. And so every day that goes by and these types of reactions don't occur, the left and the globalist Jews get bolder and braver, and they take more and more drastic steps. And the, you know, response that is required to undo that needs to become bigger and more drastic and will require more sacrifices and more suffering, right? And so,
yeah. And now you say this thing, the white
about
and
reducing the.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
reducing the overall amount of suffering.
Yeah, but you say this like the white and the right, but you know, what percentage of the right, you know, is white? Like, you know, the longer this takes to develop, the less white people there will be, less white people on the right. Obviously,
exactly.
A lot of white people are on the left.
So it needs to happen. It needs to happen sooner.
Yeah, I guess. I don't. And
you
know, you
what
talk
I'm
about
saying is that
propaganda
those people,
campaigns. Do you need your own propaganda campaigns from the white right?
Yes, we do. And those people on the left, they can be swayed. I know it sounds crazy to say that. They won't be swayed with arguments. That's totally ineffective. What they will be swayed by is power dynamics.
Okay.
People are followers, and they follow the power. And the left has held the power. They hold the power in the streets. People are afraid to, you know, wear an American flag because they'll, right? These things need to change. And the longer we go without changing them, the more, you know, totalitarian it becomes, the more people suffer, the more that they will pick people off one by one. That's why after Charlie Kirk, it was very, very important that people take that rage and actually act on it. And they didn't. And that was so disappointing, although I'm not surprised by it. But the longer that it goes where people refuse to do that, where people refuse to stand up for the truth, refuse to call a man, you know, the worse things get, the more difficult it becomes to do that. But we have seen some areas where, you know, like this is happening. It's not happening on the scale it needs to. Tucker Carlson saying he would rather die than condemn Candace Owens.
Yeah,
you know,
Nick
that's
Fuentes.
the attitude that a hell of a lot more people
Nick
need
Fuentes
to have.
has, you know, definitely risen from general internet obscurity to fairly mainstream character now.
Right, but people need to get off the internet and get into the streets, and that's the thing that's not happening.
Yeah. And what are you doing on an individual level? Like, are you doing anything? Or is this all, you know?
I do. I'm not going to sit here and list my actions, but yes, I don't just preach it. I do live it.
Okay. Good to know.
And I shared that time with the barber, right? When I was really I'm still pissed off at myself because I didn't cause a scene there and I should have, right? But generally, yes, when I come across a situation, I do what I preach.
Okay. All right, cool, Goob. Good talking to you, man. I'm going to take another call, but Goob, everybody. All right, that was the Goob. Phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. If you're on the line, stay on the line. I will get to you. Very, very interesting conversation we're having today. Poison 1553. Ask Goob if I help him with his cause, could I get a certified white card? And is it able to get cops off my rear? I think Pablo gets a certified white card, even though he's Mexican. I think you just got to stick it out, Pablo. You'll get it. I don't. Can I give him a white card? I know I look white. I know some of you obviously have certain opinions about whether or not I'm white, but maybe I'll start giving out white cards. Maybe we'll do that. All right, let's go to Kevin. I don't know where he is. Let's see what he has to say. Kevin, there you go. Kevin, are you there?
Yo.
Hey, what's up?
I was just wondering your take on Charlie Kirk. I just feel like all the good American candidates that even kind of give you hope for the future just get murked.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that the energy that was surrounding the Charlie Kirk assassination seems to have, for the most part, dissipated. Candace Owens is seems to be the only one who's even keeping this story alive. And like, I know that obviously she has a massive audience, massive fan base. I think the majority of the country thinks she's fucking nuts, though. So I don't know how helpful it necessarily is, but there certainly was this energy around when, you know, this indignation around him getting assassinated, which seems to have just kind of dissipated.
Yeah, I mean, the old tropes just ring true, you know. He was sort of backing off of Israel, and it's just so cliche, but it's like...
Well, now she's saying France killed him. She's saying France did.
Well, yeah, but wasn't it just a method used through, you know, just a mechanism for a good cutaway kind of a thing?
I mean, potentially. I mean, she was saying that France was trying to kill her with one Israeli. That was her thing, although I don't know if she's...
Yeah, but she kind of lumps it all like the French are Jews, like the Moab.
The French are Jews. The French hate Jews. The French are...
Well, no,
the French are not welcoming to Jews, historically.
But what was the town? The town that they were all from, there was like child-eating sacrifice type of
that I don't know. Again, I haven't been following the Candace Owens stuff that closely. I just see her tweet. Do you watch her streams?
Yeah, her streams are pretty liberal. I'm not gonna lie.
So what is she saying?
So seem to be lying.
So break it down. What is she saying? Because I don't watch them enough. So
yeah. So
what's she saying?
A French Legion force is a cutout. The French Legion is historically been used as a cutout for military operations because it's formed from obscurity, basically a pledge of loyalty, and a bunch of dark shit, and people are dying. So it's just.
And so the French are just being used as a proxy, essentially, for like Israel's just using the French as a proxy for some sort of plausible deniability. So if it gets
America
back,
was formed using the French Legion. We wouldn't have won against the British. We wouldn't have beat them if it wasn't for the French.
If it wasn't for the French.
Yeah, I mean,
but now doesn't France, as like, you know, a major nation, I believe they're in the G7, so they're a pretty large nation. Don't they take a massive risk of this getting exposed that they killed Charlie Kirk
have you watched
on American soil?
Have you watched the guy that has done the Rogan circuit for the guy that was the whistleblower for torture? He's on record saying that the French Secret Service does the dirtiest work, kills the most people. Like nasty work. So I mean, it all checks out. I mean,
but I'm just saying. But like, so say this was, you know, say Candace Owens
didn't kill Charlie, and the furry didn't kill Charlie. Let's be real.
It was the French
he got killed he got killed for geopolitical bullshit. I mean, the Muzzies were probably pissed, and I mean, it was the Jews. Let's be real.
So the Jews killed, but they had the French. The Jews had the French.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
run through Israel, all the flight plans. If you just look through it, it's all there, man.
Hey, man, John Cullen is fucking dropping off the face of the earth after he was saying this shit. So,
yeah, I know. A bunch of people are gonna get murked. So
which is odd.
It just bums me out.
Yeah, but my question is,
my only take. Yeah, my take is, I curse out my mom because she was around when Kennedy died, and they just let it happen, and he was an American. And I think Charlie Kirk had the same ideas of just like actual Americans. And
like kind of America first, maybe not quite to the Nick Fuentes degree. But my question is here is, so if it
Nick
comes...
Fuentes, how dare you? How dare you? Don't you dare say that shit. Fuck Nick Fuentes. Gross.
Oh, you don't like Nick Fuentes?
America. No, fuck
Why don't you like Nick Fuentes?
Gross. I don't know. He's retarded and fucking stupid. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I like
but anyways, back to my
question.
Back to my question, Kevin. So if Candace Owens' investigative work, you know, proves to be true, and she's like, I have proof that the French killed Charlie Kirk. Like, that's a massive. That's a massive scandal. Even if they did it. Even if they got paid to, you don't just say, "Hey, they paid us." Like we're not in the wrong here. Like that's a massive international scandal. You came onto U.S. territory.
Why do you
killed
think
a
no
US
one wants to
citizen.
even say a word? I mean, come on, man. It's right there. It's
So
do
you think that the United States government knows
there's
that the French did
there's
this?
factions. all right. So all right. Let me say this. Just so the CIA in the last probably 10 years has been captured on the Democratic side. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
That they work for the Clintons, and
Yep,
we weren't expecting that.
I'll
That
concede
blindsided
that.
us, and we understand that now. All right. So then now we're getting a pushback. I think the FBI is being tried to be seized by Kash Patel. It's inept. It's unimpressive. Lord knows what Valhalla the fuck means.
Yeah.
Anything. They're going to sell a death to someone, and let's just be real. It's dollars over cents, homie, and they're killing people. I'm just saying, Charlie Kirk was an American, and he was fucking doing the right shit, and he got killed.
Yeah, and he got
Tell
killed.
me I'm wrong.
I mean,
Yeah,
look,
right.
he definitely got killed. I guess my question is
Because
back,
he was
maybe back to my
rooting for the right shit.
Yeah, back to my demoralization thing that I was kind of talking about is, does it demoralize you knowing that the Jews and the French, they can just come on to America, especially the French, can come on into American territory, kill somebody like that. Everybody's in on it in the government, and nothing's going to happen from it. And there's essentially nothing you can do.
True, but if we circle the target and we acknowledge that, maybe in the future we can do something.
Yeah.
But if we don't say a fucking thing and just cower behind it, maybe we won't do anything.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you calling in, man. Kevin, everybody. Phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. Let's go talk to Dylan. I believe this is Dylan, who Dylan actually said, please hang up on this caller. And that was Abdul, who he was referencing. Hello, Dylan. Are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Jew.
Hello.
So I wanted to first, I guess, I didn't really appreciate that Somali's caller.
Why not?
Somali's call.
He's an American citizen. He has as much free speech as you do.
Yeah, that's the problem. But I did want to say that the Somalians get an unfair rap, and
Somalis,
blacks, they just had two. Who gives a fuck about these light bulb fluorescent-headed retards? But I did want to say that people do give blacks a bad rap because, well, first off, they don't get credit for helping reduce climate change.
Okay.
They accelerate bicycle sales.
All right. So they're a net positive for the GDP, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're good for the economy.
And then we'd also have no social programs for single mothers as well.
Okay. If it wasn't for
So I just wanted to say those are 2 points that going towards the blacks that they have contributed to society.
Okay.
And they gave us moonwalking. Sorry, that was a third one.
Yeah.
But
moonwalking was pretty popular 30 years ago.
Yeah. But it's an odd coincidence that you were bringing up the COVID thing, killing these children.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what me and Jared were talking about last night.
I mean, it's a pretty big story. It's, this is the head of the FDA is saying this. This isn't like some fucking crackpots who are speculating about this stuff. This is literally the head of the FDA and the head of basically like the vaccine agency.
So crackpots that were saying this years ago before any of this was mentioned by the FDA.
Of course.
They
I mean, big vindication. Dude, I mean, we couldn't have this conversation on YouTube 3 years ago. This would have got my channel nuked 3 years ago to have this conversation. I mean, my second episode ever, I got a strike on because Alex Stein called in and his mother took, I believe... he says that she died from the vaccine or she died from some treatment related to COVID, but he was sarcastically just saying that the COVID vaccine was safe and effective, but he was just saying it sarcastically. And I got a strike on my channel and the episode removed. And that was like,
so you're still calling these people crackpots?
And no, I'm not calling them
out early.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that they were considered crackpots. No, I'm not saying. I'm saying those people have been vindicated, I think, without question, that the people who were saying all this stuff several years ago have been vindicated because, now it's the FDA is saying it, which is, somewhat crazy, but no, I'm not calling those people crackpots. Those people obviously were right.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I misinterpreted your your statement.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying.
I come from this as a mechanic, but I also went to college for a few years, going in for biology. And remember when I gave you a hard time about saying "and" when you were listing numbers?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not just a semantics thing. That's an actual, like, that's a intro, like your first intro labs in like chem and bio, that they teach you that you like to list that and say it properly. And on top of that, it's related to significant figures, which they kind of like hone into your head, like the difference between precision and accuracy in like the first labs that you take. And I would have thought that since you took statistics, you'd kind of understand like significant figures a little bit more.
Well, I took statistics in Canada.
I figured.
So I don't know if that was different there.
They teach it to you a little differently.
I have no idea. I mean, you were the first person who ever said, and just to be clear, what did I say? I said, if I said the number 190, you'd say it's 190.
109.
109. You just say 109?
Yeah, it's 109.
109.
Because the "and" is a decimal point.
Right.
And so, like, everything that you're doing, like when you're listing numbers and stuff like that and you're writing stuff out, it's legally binding when you're in a lab. Like, that's what they teach you. And so that's why it matters. But the reason I'm saying that is because, like, while they're going through all of that shit, they teach you, like, the difference between accuracy and precision. And the thing that's really pissed me off is that, like, I realized that there's always a plus or minus whenever they're taking measurements.
Mm-hmm.
They give you like a range whenever you take a measurement of anything, and it goes all the way down to like physics. In physics, there's like, I forgot. It's been a while since I was reading about this, but in physics, there's certain practices where they have a scale and a range that there's an allowance, and then like in like a different practice, it's a complete like there's no range. But like when they're taking measurements and stuff like that, they're kind of like just guessing.
By the way, I found the answer to this. I found the answer to this. So this is from Gemini, which is I've been using. It's pretty good. So this is a British Commonwealth thing. The 109. So it says in North America, "and" is reserved for the decimal point when reading a number. For 109, you should simply say 109. British and Commonwealth Standard, which is what I went to, that's how they teach it in Canada because it's a Commonwealth country. In British English, it is standard practice to use "and" to separate the whole number part from the tens and ones, even if there is no decimal. For 109, it is considered correct to say 109. So that literally is a Canadian thing. And the rest of the world, for that matter. It's literally everywhere but America would say 109. America would probably be the only place, similar to, I guess, like a Fahrenheit Celsius thing, where it's just in America. And look, I'm working on my code switching, Dylan. You know, I literally was texting somebody from Canada yesterday. It's funny, whenever I text people from America, I don't use Canadian spellings for words. Like favorite, for example, in Canada has a U in it. And if I'm texting someone from Canada, I put the U back in. And if I'm texting somebody from America, I take the U out. Or, for example, when you say here in America, you'll say 9th grade. But in Canada and probably the UK, they say grade 9. So if I'm talking to somebody here, I'll say 9th grade. But these are things that I'm working on it. But anyways, there's your explanation. It was actually, I was taught to say 109, and that is a Commonwealth thing.
Also, I'm looking at the chat, and there's this Wonder Boy 94 guy. You're a complete. So we were talking about last night on the J Talk with Jared, and I actually went through all of my archives from like early 2020s that I got from 4chan, and I just found all of these graphics of like kids that were killed and basically like sacrificed by their stupid ass lib shit parents.
Yeah.
And like some of these fucking parents sacrifice themselves as well too. Like one girl, there was a 4-year-old that was a poster boy for the vaccine, fucking died. There was another guy that was he just got a job at the director of for channel strategy for vaccines in October 16th of 2020, and then his daughter mysteriously dies. He was like 9 years old, I think.
Okay.
In July 5th, 2023, by seizure. There's another girl, Anastasia Weaver, who died at 6 years old. There was another guy. There's plenty of these guys where there was, calling people idiots for taking ivermectin, and then all of a sudden they die suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating when, like, I equally hate these people, but I also feel sorry for them because, like, you've seen me, I'm sure, post pictures of my my boomer dad and his fucking gay shit lib protesting, or in the Patreon, or the fucking Halloween decorations of the headstones with the fucking list of the different departments of the government that are dead now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying to fucking help you, you dumb piece of shit boomer. And it's like the only people I can fucking like try to make a difference in is my own family. And they're so fucking goddamn just screwed by all this propaganda. It's insane to try to fucking work around.
Yeah.
I like,
the older generation is going to be harder to kind of change, I think. You're better off. And there is some element, I do wonder, because obviously I would guess you're, conservative. Is there some element where, not that, this is kind of morbid, but, all these people who are dying are essentially all Democrats for life. I guess there's some odd benefit there.
Well, what's crazy is my mom, who was like they were both hippies, but my dad was like the one when I was younger that was like kind of right wing. And like, I missed the dad that I had that would be like, tell me that like my friend's a little light in the loafers when I was a little kid. And now he's like a shit lib. One time he was a chaperone of, for a trip for us at school. And this kid wouldn't shut the fuck up. And so he's like, if you don't shut the fuck up in the car, I'm going to go to the parking lot. I'm just going to leave you there. And he actually did it. He left him in the parking lot. And then and now he's like arguing with me about fucking foreigners coming in here and me being racist. It's like, I just want my dad back from these fucking schools that have erased his brain.
Yeah. And what can you pinpoint what it was? Like, is it just like a steady diet of CNN kind of thing that he just kind of watched forever?
He doesn't he goes to all the same channels that you do. Like, he reads The Economist. He's got an international business degree, speaks 4 languages. He's a electrical engineer as well. Like, he's a fucking smart guy, but like something happened.
Yeah.
And just switched in his brain. Now my mom, who's a liberal feminist, is like, I can be fucking racist as fuck with her, and she'll be like, she'll say some things, and I'm like, Mom, hey, I know you felt that way.
Sure.
It's weird how these people switch.
That is, that is kind of interesting. So is this what your holidays are like when you go over for the holidays, or do you guys kind of like lay off the politics stuff?
Oh, they don't like when I talk about this stuff because like I'm just as bad as Jared.
Yeah.
Are
they not into the Jew stuff at all? Like when you talk about race stuff, like when you get into the Jews, are they like, they kind of check
my
out?
mom will be okay. She doesn't like the Schwarze. She'll kind of agree with me on that stuff. She's worked for the government, so she's seen like the Israel bullshit where you can't criticize Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She didn't believe me years back. It just was a weird coincidence that I started telling her about MK Ultra and them doing experiments with the Johns and the hookers. I'm sure you know about that one.
Yeah.
Where they were dosing the guys, the prostitutes were dosing the guys, and then the CIA was watching them. And it just so happened that she didn't believe me that day, and then NPR the next day ran a story about it. And so, like, she starts to see that I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, she starts to see the cracks in the narrative.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I did want to say that, like, these fucking doctors are less liable than your fucking mechanics, and they do the same shit of, like, trying to upsell you with, like, vaccines as, like, a mechanic that's desperate for money and just tells you things that you don't necessarily need. And it really, like, it pissed me off when we had our first daughter and I got a fucking huge argument with the doctor, called her a cunt and kicked her out of the fucking room after we had our child. She was trying to push all the fucking vaccines. Wouldn't even let it go about, like, the vitamin K thing, which is only for blood clotting after a circumcision. Well, my daughter's not a fucking Somali light bulb head, so we didn't circumcise her. But it's insane, dude, how they're not liable. If I fuck up on a job, if somebody gets hurt, I'm going to get sued, and they call out fucking engineers to go and study everything that I've done.
Right. Well, so, I mean, I guess doctors just have this blanket malpractice insurance, so they can kind of, unless they go too crazy, they just always have that to fall back on.
I don't get fucking special insurance.
No. But I guess I don't know how malpractice insurance works, but I assume that's kind of, it covers a lot of stuff. So unless you're,
well, they can deny everything. I mean, like, if negligent. You go, they can go and say, well, this isn't responsible for that, or we can't prove. Somehow, when it's related to the body, they can't prove what happened.
I mean, they still say what they're doing is, I mean, it's the George Carlin joke, but they still call what they do practice. We're just practicing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, that's
cool, Dylan.
Actually, the only other thing I wanted to say
go ahead.
Was about the Venezuela ship.
Yeah.
All of that, and I've been trying to tell you about, is all these wars and these invasions, especially like Ukraine, is all for collateral. That's why it's so important to these countries, the French, the Germans, and the English, to go out and basically open a new line of credit by conquering new places and then using that place's resources as collateral to essentially open a new credit line to keep them afloat. And because we're all under a finance capitalism, unlike what China's doing, where they're actually reinvesting into their own country and not expanding, then they just keep like moving off in the industry to other countries. And so they have no actual product. And so they just have to keep opening new lines of credit.
Huh. Interesting. Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't vote.
You didn't vote. Okay. Okay.
No.
All right. Probably a good move. All right, Dylan. Good talking to you, man. Dylan, everybody. We got a couple super chats here. Phone lines are open. 1-888-949-2969. Anton G 2837 says, this guy sounds like a bottom gay. Schneid Time says, make these saps donate $10 before they can call in and ruin my night. Loved you on Chloe's live pod. Yeah, go check out News for Women, Chloe LeBranch and Kurt Metzger. I wore an Israeli flag as a cape and I kissed the wall. You better believe I kissed the wall. All right, let's go to our next caller. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. And like the stream, you fucking losers. Just like the stream. It takes 4 seconds. All right. Next caller here. Will they unmute themselves? No, they will not.
Hi.
Oh, here we go. Hello. You're on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Danny. How's it going?
Very well. How are you?
Doing fine. So I have some things that I could talk about. One of the things I could talk about is random, well, not random, but some Hitler facts, which might have been appropriate, but okay.
Let's hear them. Let's hear the Hitler facts.
Okay. Right. So, what was Hitler's day of celebration like? Hitler Day in Germany, and
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I could answer, but the chance that you'd know it, I assume, is slim.
I've no clue.
Yeah, 9/11.
That
9/11 was Hitler's day of celebration in Germany. Now 9/11 in European is September 9th. Wait. November 9th.
November 9th. Okay.
Yeah. They write it backwards because European or whatever,
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Well, okay, so that's one thing. And so when it comes to World War II and like in general, the lowering of America and American standards, etc. Americans, obviously we are under the impression we won World War II, but when it comes to CIA, deep state, etc., there's no real reason to believe that we, in my opinion, that we won World War II based on the outcomes after the war. So you're aware of the Kennedy stuff. The CIA, Kennedy's like trying to fire the CIA. Presumably the CIA killed Kennedy, which is, the most likely.
Yeah.
And then when the CIA started, what was the original name for the CIA? Not the OSS, but the real CIA, the original name for it was the Holy See. The Holy See, which is in reference to the Vatican.
Yeah.
The Vatican, you're aware of that, right?
I was not aware of that. I know the Holy See from the Vatican. I wasn't aware that the CIA's original name was that, though.
Right. So the CIA's original name is the Holy See. And then when it comes to the guards of the Vatican are the Swiss guards of the Vatican.
Yeah.
So the Swiss are the ones who guarded the Vatican, and the Secret Service for Europe for the time of the kings were the Swiss. So all of the presidents, the kings rather, in Europe, all of their Secret Service was by the Swiss.
Okay.
And then when it comes to the Holocaust, there was a previous Holocaust documented in Jewish literature and so forth primarily, a much more successful Holocaust. And that was done by the Swiss as well in 1392 during the Black Plague.
Okay.
Yeah. So during the Black Plague, I got the words. It's like the torture of Al-Mulet. I could pull up the actual spelling of the name, but it's in Basel, Switzerland, I believe.
Okay.
And so what happens at this time, and the whole European Jewish antagonism, is that you have the Black Death. And are you familiar with some of what you could call some of the conspiracy with the Black Death?
I don't think so.
Europe?
No, tell me. The Jews started it, kind of thing? The Jews unleashed it?
Yes, the story is the Jews started it. The chance that the Jews did start it is more reasonable than people would want to believe, probably, because the Black Death had been used as a warfare tactic previously. It's not like this thing came out of nowhere, but plagues do not spread naturally. Plagues naturally kill everyone, and then everyone's dead and it doesn't spread.
Mm-hmm.
The the quickness at which the Black Death spread implies that there was somebody doing it, and then also the primary date of when the Black Death began was during Passover, which, you know, we're all familiar enough with the Bible. Passover is when, you know, you put the mark on your door, and then God kills all the firstborn.
Yeah, the angel of
Sorry,
death.
go ahead.
Yeah, like the angel of death goes over your door and passes you over, I guess.
Right. With the idea that, you know, if the Black Death was to begin during Passover, and then, you know, all the Jews are spared, and is this a warfare tactic, or is it just, you know, coincidence? And there is also some possibility that the Jews were spared because at this time they were a cleaner people than the Catholics. The Catholics were keeping their dead around forever. So,
Yeah,
like,
I mean the Jews
kids
do.
and-
They do bury the dead really fast. If you've ever been to a Jewish funeral, the body's almost still warm.
Oh, really?
Well, not literally still
Sorry.
warm, but like you get buried within, I think, 2 days, 2 or 3
Okay.
days. It's quick. It's really quick.
Yes. So you have the Catholic Church who supported Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
You have the CIA, which is named after the Catholic Church. And then you have the Secret Service, which the original Secret Service was the colorful Swiss people, and the Swiss Guards, I think they're called.
Yeah.
And then you have the American Secret Service start at about the time of you know, just post World War II, I believe is I'm not sure about when the American Secret Service began, really.
So what's the conspiracy
so,
here? Well, how does this all tie together?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the basic idea is that the war is mischaracterized as a German and Hitler war, when it's more accurately a European unification war versus, you know, the rest of the world. And the Swiss, who are presented as they're normally presented as just money merchants, and they like liquidated gold for Hitler and gave Hitler a lot of money through the liquidation of gold, but they were actually you know, the first group to do the Holocaust in a serious way that I'm familiar with. And so they were actually like the Washington D.C. of Hitler's war.
They were the swamp.
They were the swamp, yes. And then in like, have you been to Switzerland by wild chance?
I've never been to Switzerland. No, I'd like to.
Okay, yeah. Well, so Switzerland is like the paradise, or you could call it white paradise, whatever you want to call it. But Switzerland is like a damn paradise. It is. They are just like the smartest people. They make the most money. They are the most well-behaved people. And it, like, so that's another way of like who were the victors of the war, and you would say it's like the people who prospered after the war were the.
So you're saying
victors,
the Swiss were the ones who prospered the most from World War II. They were the Swiss were the ones who won World War II.
Yes, yes, or they won the peace, whatever you would prefer to say. You know, we won on the ground, but who took in? Like, where is the International Post Office? Switzerland. Where are the international treaties signed? Switzerland. Where is, like, the head of the European Union? Belgium, Switzerland.
Yeah.
What group of people have, they have a direct democracy? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, so they have a direct democracy in Switzerland, which is also a very they're unique in this, in that this is why they don't join the European Union, etc. By Swiss law, they have to, like, everyone in the country has to vote to join the European Union. The president cannot do it by himself. And how many presidents does Switzerland have? Because, you know, in the time of assassinations, this is a relevant question. Well, Switzerland has 7 presidents.
Really?
Yes. They have 7 presidents, and one of them is the show president, the one who attends the meeting, but all 7 are called the president. And we've all heard the stories of 7, you know.
Yeah.
7's always coming up.
Yeah, it says here,
as like
they have a 7-member executive body called the Federal Council.
Right. And
the presidency
these
rotates
are, you know,
annually. The presidency rotates annually among the 7 members, and the role is largely ceremonial and representative. Crazy. I didn't know they have 7 presidents.
How difficult is it to assassinate 7 presidents at the same time? Or, you know, in close
Probably
proximity?
impossible, because they're probably very rarely together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't assassinate huh?
I said good system. Smart.
A superior system. And you know, obviously superior. Like, there's no question that you should not have a government where you can assassinate one person and then you've taken over the government.
Yeah.
You know, you assassinate JFK and then the entire country is just done for, because there's no real fallback to how to deal with an assassination.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have the vice president who's not a president.
Yeah, right. They make the vice president the president. And like in the matter of the JFK assassination, every assassination that you've ever heard about in American history, barring Charlie Kirk recently, but up until that point, pretty much every single assassination happened under Lyndon B. Johnson.
Huh.
The person who became president after JFK, obviously.
Who else other than
Like,
RFK, JFK? Who else was there?
Malcolm X, MLK,
Right. Sure.
Medgar Evers, he was a little bit before, but the civil rights movement time frame.
Is it okay?
But all, like the Charlie Kirks, basically, like these, and also when you follow the wave of assassinations, because it's a pure wave of assassinations. We have like a dozen assassinations all within, like, you know, 5 years of JFK, and then they just stop, you know, completely. And then they move over to Canada, and then the wave of assassinations move over to Brazil. And it's like they're taking turns, as if it's a unit that is moving to take over a country. And once the assassinations have done what they needed to do, then they're done.
And then move on to the next one. Interesting. I gotta let you go just because I got a bunch of other callers, but that was interesting.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay. All right. Interesting stuff. Dylan says, "Hey, Coolinator and Anto, go test the strength of your ceiling rafters with chain and your neck." Interesting. Hello. You're on Low Value Man.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
Hey, Conspiracy Extremist. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Very well. How are you?
Not too bad, dude. I was in a car accident a couple weeks ago, and like I got this terrible concussion, so my memory's all fucked up.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Are you okay otherwise?
But I'm still kind of sore a little bit, but it's basically the brain thing.
I
can't remember shit. But my car is complete. These dudes, they like were flying and they hit me from behind. Very funny. Good joke there. And they fucking fleed the scene of the car crash. It was crazy.
No insurance? Did they find them?
Yeah. They got insurance. Yeah, the cops got him like right away.
That's fucking young guys. Like kids?
Yeah. Guess their race.
Hispanic.
Yes, they are Hispanic. Yeah.
I mean, you live in Arizona. It's probably a decent guess.
I figured, yeah, it was an easy one. But yeah, I didn't call in to bitch about my car. But anyways, so if I'm not all there, that's my excuse. It's not because I'm retarded, or maybe it is. I just want to say real quick, because I originally when I called in, I'm like, I have one thing I want to talk to you about, and it's Venezuela, and then I hear all this other shit these callers are talking about.
Yeah.
It every time it happens away. Goob is absolutely 100% correct. But I just want to make a qualifier. I think he meant that metaphorically, fight back and all those other things, or in Minecraft or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I completely agree with him. We do.
I know what I definitely know what Goob is saying. I guess my question is always, how do you do this in practice?
Well, I don't know what obviously he's not going to say specifically. I would say I'm just more vocal with people in my real life. Like, I don't try to red pill them immediately, but for instance, I think that guy was talking about his libtard dad. I forget who that was, but
that was Dylan.
How his dad Dylan, his dad used to be based. I'll tell you what, my dad is a big anti-Trumper, Obama lover, but get a couple glasses of wine in him and I can get him to say the N-word a bunch of times. So your dad's still in there, sir.
Yeah,
he's still there.
It's just a shell. Whatever they did to him, he's still in there. You can get him back.
Exactly. Yeah. But I did want to talk about the Venezuela thing real quick. I don't want to take up too much time on it, so you can keep going. But
yeah, go ahead.
We've been messing around with Venezuela since like 1945, like right after World War II.
We, as in the United States.
Yes. CIA. You can, if you want to incorporate Israel there. Israel just started back then, but you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, geographically, it seems like a beneficial spot to control.
Yeah, and all the oil and resources. Like, we've been trying to overthrow, install, pro-democracy governments with Venezuela all the way since right after World War II, when everything settled. We're going in there immediately because originally Gallegos was trying to raise like the royalties of the oil, and so we immediately jumped in with our intelligence agencies and started trying to throw him over by putting in Marcos Perez Jimenez. So, but there's so many instances. It's never changed. It doesn't matter if we have a Democratic or Republican in office. It's always the same fucking thing over again. It's we're trying to go in there. We throw them over or we fail. We try again. The people vote in another nationalist. We try to go in again. It's just never ending. So I think
it just seems like it's a policy of the United States to just have politically friendly government in Venezuela, I guess. Because if they're just doing it regardless of who's in charge.
Yeah, but why do we want a friendly government? It's not. Like, it's always that altruistic, like, oh, we want to give them democracy. It never has anything to do with it. It's about what our objectives are,
of course,
our priorities, and to make like what are the gas companies called? Like whatever oil, all those main companies, to make them richer. That's all it is. It's those corporate entities like telling our government what to do to go start wars in other countries so they can benefit.
Yeah.
Things
I mean, America is, again, as someone not from America, that was kind of the MO of this country, was that it's just constantly meddling in other countries' affairs. Constantly. Like, which is why I always found it so funny when they were complaining about Russians like meddling in the election in 2016. I'm like, America does that probably in fucking half the countries in the world.
Yeah, but we literally go in and violently overthrow their
that too.
But
like the idea that you're like, Russia's, has bought, they always talk about this on Twitter. They're like, oh, there's all these foreign bot farms. You're like, you don't think there's American bot farms on Twitter? You think it's just like, you think that's just a foreign thing? And America just like, America's not on like Weibo or, some shit in China, like infiltrating and trying to sway opinion in those countries. Like, absolutely they do that. They do that in Russia. I'm sure they do it everywhere.
I mean, have we not seen the videos of like the IDF bot farms? Essentially,
I mean that too.
There's like I'm sure it happens. Of course, it's IDF, fucking CIA, same fucking thing. But where they go in and reporters are recording them, and the people are explaining, yeah, this is what we do to, we got to send these messages, XYZ. That's literally part of their MO.
Yeah, for sure. No question.
But the Venezuela thing is very unique because it seems like it's all coming to a head now, where we've attempted over and like we've been successful in the Middle East, South America, except Venezuela, to like overthrow these dictators or these, whatever you want to call them, the elected or whoever their leader is, right? And now how brazen and obvious it is. I don't know if it's just because that's how Trump is, or that we're just like, we're done with it and we're going full out war, because it spans, I mean, there was 1945, 1958, 1969. We did my co-host, he's been on this for months now. We did a whole deep dive, our last episode, Horseshoes, Hand Grenades, guys. Go check it out on Rumble.
Go check it out.
Last episode. Yep. Whole fucking deep dive on ever since after World War II. All these times we've been fucking with Venezuela. And it's like, we've got a hard on for them. Even more than like Iraq, Iran, or any of those other Middle East countries, which is very interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize the extent. I knew it was like, in my lifetime. I didn't know that they have been doing this since the World War II era.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's even if you want, like, obviously there was what was it, Iraq 1 and Iraq 2. So that spans many years, but this is like way, way longer. We've been fucking around over there.
It's interesting that Trump figured out the kind of loophole for this too, is he just says it's a national security issue because of, like, he just designated them as terrorists essentially. And you go, well, once we've designated them as a terrorist entity, we can the playbook is wide open of stuff they can do. Whereas I'm surprised nobody ever thought of this.
Yeah, it's pretty gay. Thanksgiving, my dad asked me, he's like, hey, so what are the conspiracy theories people think about Trump these days? Because he knows, like, I'm much right wing, and I'm like, it's a long story, Dad. And I tried to, but it's like,
it's a long story. Really, he's a Jew,
right? Yeah. Well, he's not a Jew, but yeah, I think I said he sucks Benjamin Netanyahu's dick.
Yeah. Did you see that Benjamin Netanyahu tweet? I was meaning to bring it up actually from this is like a week ago. Benjamin Netanyahu retweeted Jacobin, which is like a far left like socialist website, like news source essentially. Basically, the title is Jeffrey Epstein claimed to have meddled in Israel's elections. And Benjamin Netanyahu retweeted this. Like, we need to look into Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Israel.
Well, that's pretty crazy. But he also immediately said Israel didn't kill Charlie Kirk, which was pretty crazy too. I think the guy's floundering. He knows the jig is up for him once this fucking war, if it ever does come to an end. But
I mean, his popularity is not great in Israel. Like, it's, I mean, as you can expect. It's not like any politician.
Good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Like, he doesn't give a shit about things. It's whatever's good for him and his objectives and Israel's conquest, whatever that may be, whether it's the Greater Israel Project or just fucking, I don't know, doing whatever they want to do. I don't really give a shit as long as we don't fund it.
Right.
But
yeah, I just did find that so funny where Benjamin Netanyahu was like, have you guys heard this Epstein guy might be an Israeli spy or something? You're like, what? That was wild.
It's very crazy. Well, you said it was Epstein meddled in their elections.
But essentially like tying him to Ehud Barak, and essentially like Epstein was tied in Israel. Like, Netanyahu wants to get to the bottom of this, which is just such a funny departure from him probably never even discussing or acknowledging it before, and now Netanyahu's like, yeah, we should look into this.
Just like Trump wants to get to the bottom of the Epstein files?
I guess, yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right, man. Good talking to you.
Thing,
yeah, go ahead.
I put a link, and I sent a Rumble rant. I have a whole deep dive on the Black Death on my other channel, my Despotic Ambition. So, guys, go check it out. The link.
Go check it out. Conspiracy Experience. Feel better, man.
All right, thanks, Brad.
Later. conspiracy extremists, everybody. Let's take another call. Dash 721 says, like the thumbnail for tonight's show, Danny. Very nice. Thank you. That was made in Gemini. I don't know if you guys are big AI people, if you use AI very much, but Gemini is all of a sudden way better than ChatGPT or Grok. Check it out. All right, we got some more callers. Phone lines are closed. I'm not going to be able to get to any more calls, so don't call in. Let's go. We're going to go to Frank, and then we'll go to Slav. In that order. I know Slav's been on the line. I haven't forgotten you. What's up, Frank?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I can't believe that they're finally letting all the stuff out about the vaccines, and
you must feel vindicated. No, hold on a second. Well, people, stop hanging up. I'm not. The phone lines are closed. Stay on the line. 3 people just hung up. Now I have to reopen the phone lines. That was sorry that I was unclear about that. I was going to get to everybody else on the call on the lines. Just don't have new callers. So the phone lines are reopened. Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be me because I'm the best caller, and I'm not as deadpan as the last couple of ones over there. Jeez. But anyway, and also stop blaming the Catholics, man. I mean, like, it's just so stupid. Like, I mean, anybody can just go to church whatever they want. They don't have to pay anything for Catholic mass. The churches are beautiful. You can go to confession whenever you want. There's no shadowy thing. Yeah, they're
no shadowy figures in the Catholic Church.
I mean, come on. What do they do? They own a lot of. They own a lot of banks, whatever. But anyway, back to the vaccines. The thing is that I deal with hazardous material, and a lot of hazardous material is actually inside the vaccines. The vaccines have some aerosol in them, which is a fancy word for mercury.
Yeah,
and that's the DOT, the Department of Transportation, classifies as a 6.1 poison. We all know that aluminum is a neurotoxin. That's also in there. And then,
but isn't aluminum in antiperspirant as well? I remember that was the big thing for antiperspirant. Is you're like, it's bad for you because it has aluminum in it.
Yeah, because aluminum is an anti-caking agent. So that what it means is that, like, the aluminum that they use in the antiperspirants is bad for you because it's aluminum, and you're pushing that right into your lymph nodes.
Yeah, it's going exactly. It's right into your lymph nodes in your pores.
But I think that the reason why they use aluminum. I think they use it in some salts too, the kosher salts. They have aluminum because it's, I think, an anti-caking agent. But yeah,
there's aluminum in kosher salt.
Yeah, I mean, if you check some of the salts, there's aluminum in there, and that's why you don't. Yeah, yeah.
I've never checked the ingredients on salt because I assume it's one fucking ingredient, and it's just sodium chloride.
Yeah, they put aluminum in there, and also the parents that are listening right now, Eggo Waffles puts aluminum in their Eggos as well.
Why the fuck is there aluminum in Eggo Waffles?
It's a leavening agent. So instead of using a real leavening agent, they use the aluminum leavening agent because it's cheaper for some reason. So it's all based really on manufacturers will use things that the government will allow, and that's why I can't stand libertarians so much because they're so stupid. They're like, oh, let companies and people do whatever they want anytime they want, and we'll all live in some sort of like heavenly universe.
Yeah, everyone's trustworthy.
And then they when they make rape and slavery legal again, and they start putting antifreeze in everyone's soup products because it tastes sweet, and everyone starts dropping dead. Oh, who cares? We don't need any rules.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It really is. I don't know, man.
I like the libertarians, but they're sometimes retarded.
And Alex Stein was saying remdesivir. Remdesivir is a medicine that destroys your kidneys. That's what killed his mother.
Maybe that's what killed his mother. Yeah, that might be what.
Yes. So it's and look, the thing about Fauci is that his pedigree is that he manages pandemics. So AIDS, the HIV pandemic was a fake pandemic. It was equivalent to COVID. COVID was a fake pandemic. And what he does is that he goes in there, he says it's a pandemic, says everyone's going to die, and then he's like, oh, I have something that we're going to use. AZT is the equivalent of remdesivir. It kills people very quick. If you see pictures of Freddie Mercury at the end of life, that was all AZT. He was getting killed by AZT. It had nothing to do with HIV.
That's what killed Arthur Ashe as well.
Yes, exactly. And it's horrible, man. It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. He's just skated by his entire, if half the country holds Anthony Fauci in like pretty high esteem. And then the other half is like, this guy is maybe the worst fucking person on earth.
I mean, he's definitely a sociopath. He's a sick person, just like Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney and his daughter are complete demon creatures that crawled out of hell. I mean, these people have no souls whatsoever. Back to the Venezuela thing. Don't forget Hugo Chavez. When Hugo Chavez ran the country, it was actually a pretty good country. Yeah, he said he was a communist, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that he took control and nationalized the oil fields. I don't know how he died. Some say that the CIA gave him cancer or whatever. I don't know, nor do I care about that. But the thing is that, the other caller was correct. We've been kind of like courting this war with Venezuela for a very long time. And maybe it's natural resources, maybe not. But the place is so softened up right now. I used to work with this lady who her parents lived in Venezuela. And that was during like the famine over there, maybe like 5 years ago or 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
The whole place is like a total disaster. And, it's not even a real country. I don't consider Mexico a real country. I don't consider Venezuela a real country. And to be honest, like, if Trump really just wants to like take over both of those countries, I really don't care because, as long as there's no boots on the ground and they're just going to bomb them into submission, they're just going to start sending us oil. I mean, really, they're not real countries. I mean,
there probably will be boots on the ground. I mean, it's probably overly hopeful to think that you're like it's just going to bomb the shit out of them.
Yeah, and the final thing is that I'm happy that the Indian scam, the H-1B scam, is finally brought to the forefront because we need to start sending them all home. I used to work for a pharmaceutical company in around 2018, and the whole entire company was comprised. The whole entire management class was comprised of H-1B visa holders who had no idea what they were doing. They paid under the table to get their jobs. They got in there, and then they hired Americans to do their job for them. When their H-1B visa was up, the Americans would go and apply for the job, and it would get squashed immediately because a backroom deal was done, and they would go back to being the manager.
Are they saying they want to? Didn't like the Trump administration just come out and say they want to actually double the amount of H-1B visas?
No, that was 4 Democrats. 4 Democrats, all Indian, wanted to double it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But anyway, thank you for taking my call. Bye.
Thanks, Frank. Frank, everybody. AH5440 says, I know 5 people who died suddenly in the past 2 years, 2 from blood clots, 1 from cancer, and 2 from undisclosed illness. Most of them were in their 50s. Dylan Farnham says, Frank sounds like a gay Pink Panther laying on a couch, twirling a curly phone line on his finger. Pretty funny. Gay Pink Panther. Good movie. All right, let's go to Slav. Phone lines are open. I'll be able to take a couple more calls if you want to call in. For a couple of you. I know a bunch of you hung up. I don't know if that was my fault or not. Slav!
Can you hear me?
Absolutely, I can.
All right.
I feel like you're fucking cracking your knuckles right now. You're just like, all right, let's do it.
No, I just cracked the beer. Yeah, first off, with the anyone who thought that was a vaccine, you have been fooled, hoodwinked, mistaken,
Jude.
And you will not. Yeah, and what is it? You won't be. You won't be seeing Christmas 2029.
Why is
You won't
that?
be seeing the New Year.
Why do you have that number?
2030.
Why that number specifically?
I'm just Project 2030. Just to lump it all into there.
Project 20. You're saying anybody who received a vaccine it will not make it to the year 2030?
It's the ones who do. Hey man, they're the ones who are like, holy shit, I messed up. I gotta change my ways. They're probably gonna do some hippy dippy stuff, blood transfusions, putting stuff on the bottom of their feet.
So here's the thing: more than 5.5 billion people worldwide took a COVID-19 vaccine. 72.3% of the world population. Are you saying that in the next 5 years, 72% of the world population will be dead?
Well, I mean,
that is quite a prognostication.
Well, see, well, it's going to tie into what I was calling in for that about. Well,
yeah,
that it depends if they can replicate, if these people can replicate. So, I was thinking, this whole administration, they want to be talking about like, oh, we're conservative values, and they're talking about dead kids. I mean, this is like, because this happened to somebody that's like close to me personally, not just one person, but multiple miscarriages.
Yeah.
Miscarriages were skyrocketing after the implementation of,
of the vaccine.
Yeah. I mean, first off, let's not forget which country came out with the first vaccine for China virus.
Was it Israel?
Russia.
Oh.
It was Russia. Russia came out with the Sputnik 5.
Yeah.
Not a peep from the entire world. And it's not mRNA based, and it only had like an 83% efficacy rate.
Yeah.
With no residual long-term lasting effects.
Okay. I'm looking up miscarriage.
But
I'm looking up miscarriage rates. It seems to be pretty steady for the last 40 years is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was being reported, and all the reports of it got squashed.
Okay.
Especially during the time when people, I mean, Danny, you're in a spot where you can start appealing all of your, episodes, especially the ones that got, blocked in Europe and stuff.
Well, I only have the one World Economic Forum, but the thing with this show is people don't really watch the old episodes, so it's honestly more work than it's worth to have to go through that process.
It's a matter of principle. It is a matter of principle.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I don't even know if there's a mechanism for me to reappeal any demonetized episodes. I think they just give you the one shot and that's it.
Danny, you're in New York City. I always hear about other comedians who are like, yeah, we know somebody at Instagram, we know somebody at YouTube.
I mean, I do know somebody at Instagram who got me my account back actually, but YouTube is a different story. I don't know anybody at YouTube.
Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents on the vaccine. I mean, hey, if you're vaccinated, I mean, also it is kind of awkward. Like, I have been chastised before when I get told like, oh, so and so passed away, and they're like, oh man, it's because of this, and I'm like, were they vaccinated? And then I just catch all this verbal fury, and then I literally just respond with, okay, why is it a problem when I ask, but what is it? Some dumb 20-year-old hostess at a restaurant was able to ask people that for several years. And then
she was just following orders. You can appreciate that. Anybody can appreciate just following orders.
And then meanwhile, some dot head employer all the way on the other side of the world can ask me that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but nobody's asking the 50 million illegals who walked in here over 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good point. That was, you couldn't, in New York City, you couldn't fucking go to a restaurant without showing a vaccine. You couldn't go to a Yankees game, and then you could just walk over the border. They didn't give a shit.
And it's, and then plus people are like, oh, well, what is it? California had an all-time record measles outbreak. It's like, yeah, 2 more. The year before was 13 measles outbreaks. and the year after that they're reporting was 15. Two more. That's all-time high. And that's from illegals. It's not from hippy-dippy parents not vaccinating the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I know the Orthodox Jews in New York City have bad problem with measles because they're very distrusting of all that shit. They're like the Amish.
Bro, they spread herpes they give herpes to babies.
Yeah, it's the original sin.
All right, and the entire nation of America had to find out from Cumtown. Did you understand that this is shit Simpsons couldn't even write about?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my only 2 cents about the
about the vax.
So, yeah, so I decided I'd finally listen to an episode of Nick Fuentes.
Okay. What do you mean you finally? You haven't been a fan of his?
I see the highlight. I see the highlight reels. I get the highlight reels in my feed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get the shtick, whatever. I decided to listen. First off, all the critical, stuff that they play of him, that's him shitting on his super chatters. He gets like $100 super chats that he reads at the end, and he just shits on all of his people who send him money.
I know. You know what? I actually did tune into an episode of his for the first time ever. Like
I knew you did.
3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago. But I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched it for like 10 minutes just to see what was going on.
So this one episode I watched, he outlined basically how this money scheme of America giving money to Israel works.
Okay, let's hear it.
Conditional. It's conditional, and this is what's set up for the next.
You're talking about the U.S. aid to Israel, like the $3-4 billion.
Yeah, the financial. Yeah. So what it is for the next 20 years, they want to make sure that it's all set in stone and it can't be changed. It is $4 billion of forgivable loan. It's not grants that can be what is it?
I thought the money has to be used to buy American.
No. So what it is? No. What it is instead of grants that can be observed and they can be like, we can see what you're doing with it. We can tell you yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
It is all in cash. It's all in cash, so they can do whatever the fuck they want with it, and the loan is forgivable. What the Israeli government will do is they'll buy U.S. treasuries in the form of buying up U.S. debt.
Okay.
And America has to take out a loan to give out these loans.
Yeah.
So,
just like any money they fucking come up with, essentially.
It's literally the most Jewish scheme ever. So,
I mean, you're describing the U.S. financial system. That's where all the money comes from. Is they literally print it out of thin air, buy it from themselves.
No, but what is it? They make Israel is making money off of the debt America gives itself to come up with money they lend to Israel. So they're in fact double dipping. They're double dipping on them. Like they're double dipping on the money they somehow extract from us, if that makes sense.
But wait, are they buying the debt that then gets sent back to them? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But I don't know. See, but money's like fungible because that I actually don't agree with, because I know what you're saying, but every country in the world, for the most part, buys U.S. treasuries because it's the greatest.
Every other country in the world is
the greatest.
Shithole, Danny.
No, but I'm saying every country, like Canada, China, for example, like there's so many countries in the world that receive, like Egypt, for example.
China is floating.
Like Egypt receives huge amounts of money from America. Their government buys American treasuries. Those are, probably separated in some capacity, but you could say that you're like, it's the same money, but it's I guess you can make the case that it is the same money. No, I'm not paying dumb. I know exactly what you're saying. I'm just giving a case where he's oversimplifying what's happening, because you're like, yes, every country essentially buys American debt because it's the safest place to put your money. And, almost probably every country in the world on their balance sheet has U.S. debt. That's just what they do. America's the largest creditor in the world. But to say that, like, that's the same money is, I understand what they're saying. I don't know. I don't know.
Literally what it is, it's, what is it? They make all, Israel is making money off of the debt America gives itself to come up with money they lend to Israel. So they're making, they're in fact double dipping. They're double dipping on the money they somehow extract from us, if that makes sense. what is it? You've bought drugs, right? When you were younger. And
yes, I've bought drugs.
Usually, yeah. And sometimes you couldn't buy directly from a plug, but you had a friend, and you knew that friend was kind of giving you a higher price because there were middlemaning at the exchange.
Yes, an intermediary.
So, yeah. So that's why nobody wants Jews in their financial system, because they occupy anytime a penny, a dollar, a dime changes hands.
Yeah.
This little rat just scurries up out of a tunnel and be like, I gotta facilitate.
Hey man, you guys should have invented your own fucking financial system then. I mean, obviously the Jews invented it.
And then
you don't think they're getting a taste?
So and then in the same episode, he said he's like, yes, the Jew is smart, but the thing is, the Jew is incapable of morality. It's yeah, because it's like they see, if you look at shitholers like sub-Saharans and all these other
I mean, I'll tell you, look at these shitholders. What's the one thing they don't have? What's the one thing they don't have, Slav? They don't have any Jews.
Well, actually,
think about it.
They do have them, and they've been kicking them out recently.
Well, and how's that working out for them?
The Jews a vindictive creature, but what is it? They are. I mean, look at what Roseanne Barr said, and look what every single politician in Israel says. If Israel falls, America will as well. It's like that is a threat. That is a direct threat, and it's literally why we're like, guys, we just don't want to deal with you. But I mean, when you look at mud skinners, it's like I can't understand the concept of, well, they don't know any better. Like the colored, he will rob you blind. He will pull a gun on you and ask for your wallet and your phone, and then pistol whip you just for the fun of it and scurry along. The Jew will entrap you. It is like the devil taking Jesus to the mountain, offering the world, offering ungodly amounts of wealth and power. All for what? And it's like none of it's even real. You spun it out of nothing. You know, spinning gold out of hay.
Sure, we're like the original Rumpelstiltskins.
We've been over this, Daniel. Rumpelstiltskin is and Pied Piper. They're allegories for the Jew and how they're warnings to not let them into your society. It is. Look, I wish there was just a better somebody that better than Fuentes to basically describe all this shit. There are people, they just don't have the traction, and it doesn't. And it does.
They don't have the aura.
Him being I hate that fucking term. It's all gay, and it's like there are people who, and it's like the people who explain. I mean, for instance, Lincoln Norman Rockwell. You're familiar with him.
Sure.
He warned America about all this in the '60s. He I don't.
Too late.
After reading.
Too little, too late.
Well, no, but after I've read all of his works, I've listened to his speeches. I'm like, I really don't need anybody else besides him and Malcolm X. Yeah, dude, they were 100% on the spot with the question of the Jew and like their negative influence on the entire world. And those are two Americans. One is a war hero. The other one is an actual. I mean, I wouldn't even want to say civil rights activist. He didn't even want anything to do with the white man, which I agree with.
Sure.
I mean, and then that's all I got to say. And lastly, do you not respect Dylan's money? He gave you $13 to hang up on that light bulb.
Wrong show, pal, and I don't do that anymore in the bathhouse either. So that's
okay. Well, if Abdul
I thank Dylan for his donation. I do.
If Abdul
it's going straight to the
buddy,
ADL.
You got 48 hours to pack your bag.
He's an American citizen.
All of your fucking cut. I don't give a shit.
Well, you should give a shit.
48 hours to pack his bags. No.
Or what? Or what?
We got rope. We got plenty of rope, buddy.
All right, you're getting me demonetized. Fucking lunatic. guys, you can't. I mean, I don't want to say it's very Jewish of you to all of a sudden make all these rules and then be like, yeah, we're reneging on all these rules. Guys, he's an American citizen. It's over. That's it. That's just the deal. All right, 2 more callers. Phone lines are closed, everybody. Hello.
Hello. This is Donnish.
Donnish,
I like how you use logic to break through people's ideology. You know, I think Tate recently said it, how like the Jews didn't tell you not to go to the gym. Like, yeah, they control a lot for the amount of people that they exist, but we still have agency. Like my uncle, I got in this discussion. I think I was wrong that I read these studies about the intelligence, whatever DNA, and then uncle was like, no, they just encourage their kids to get education. So that's from a young age. So that's kind of
yeah.
why.
I mean that is one explanation for the success of Jews is that they're just a bunch of book learning nerds. I've heard that explanation certainly. But how do you explain how many good hockey players there are now, man? I was looking actually. There's now in the NBA. There's three or four Jews in the NBA, and which is like the most in my lifetime. It's I do think, and in the NHL, there's like all these really good Jewish hockey players. Like we're coming after the stuff that historically we weren't even good at.
And players, not owners this time.
Woo! Yeah, players. I know it's crazy.
I have some insight about the Indian engagement farming, we've been talking about last week. So about 10 years ago, around there, I had a news/meme page before I got Zuck, back when Duck was in the dark side.
Yeah.
So there was basically, I had a friend that had access to this conspiracy page. It was called Illuminati Exposed, but whatever. Had over 1 million followers. I would just use it to get some here and there to get my thing growing, and I got my thing going. Anyways, there was this guy on there. His name was Satya. I still remember his name. Guy from India. He was paying $800 a month, which is, as you know, 3 times the salary of average Indian.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was an accountant. He left his job as an accountant. The thing that was crazy is the stuff that he would post. Like, I would post stuff. I would make sure that it's credible, like actually trying to promote actual news. But it was literally the level of like that one guy that one of your guests that was like, oh, I think Hitler was Jewish or something like that. Where like it was even crazier stuff than that. But he was just posting it all day. And apparently he's making so much money that he was able to survive off that. And I was just shocked, just complete fake nonsense that he's been spreading out.
So this is like a kind of a recently known thing among like comedians. I don't know if like regular people know this, but Facebook right now is paying some people like ungodly sums of money to post on Facebook. Like if you get a lot of views on Facebook, like you could, I'm not even exaggerating, like big pages are making $50,000, $100,000 a month on Facebook right now. Like it is crazy what's going on Facebook. Like if anybody here, if you want to go make some fucking Facebook slop account, start posting crazy shit. Like, but so you go into these, there'll be these pages like, because people are trying to figure out how to, because the monetization on Facebook right now is invite only. So these people are all trying to figure out how do we get invited to this. I was talking about it on the Boys Cast or maybe on the Patreon, but like it's all just people, third world people like India, Nigeria, like all these people, and they're essentially trying to figure it out. But you go and you look at these pages, and there'll be these like AI pages and just pages that post like crazy shit all day. Tons of like, I got a thing from Facebook today saying like post in all these like groups, and there's all these like anti-Zionism groups, and they just post like basically the shit Slavs and like Jared and Dylan say. And I bet you some of these people are making like crazy money, and crazy money for an American. Like for them, they're probably, if you could do this for 2 years, you could retire if you're living in the third world. Like you could legitimately.
Oh yeah, that's why the Fiverr is bringing up so much over there. $5 that people doing all kinds of things.
Yeah, but people have, I guess, figured out. Like I guess I don't know if Facebook pays the same if you live like in these countries, but there are people like it is like the word is out in these countries where you go like you can make, if you just find some niche on Facebook and just post nonstop all day, like you can make so much money. It is like
they used to give a line. I wonder.
Dude, I was talking to a guy at Skankfest who he's like a magician, and he just like posts like magic videos. He's like, I make like 30 grand a month on Facebook right now.
Jeez. It used to be crazy, the ad revenue back then. And I don't know now, I don't know if you talk about how Instagram was paying you to get people back in. I don't know if because people are leaving Facebook, they really want anybody they can get in, or.
No, I know. It's just ad revenue. It's straight up just, like they basically are paying like between $250 and $400 per million views on Facebook right now. But if you like there's all like if you see all these like meme like you go on Facebook, see these like meme pages and they just like repost like Twitter screenshots and shit like that, and these people are making like insane money, and I guarantee you huge chunk of them are just engagement farming from wherever in the world.
Misinformation. No, it is true that people have spread it. Obviously, and we have this freedom. I want to mention you guys talked about like Trump looks like the winner. Do you think him and the Mamdani is kind of like, or he kind of is this vacuous figure that like any kind of political ideology? You saw that Mamdani won with this, and he used to be a Democrat. He's like, all right, maybe if I was a young cat, I would be doing the same thing. But in his kind of opportunistic mind, he thinks, who knows? I mean, Mamdani could be more genuine about his intent. But Trump's kind of just like, effective. And also, he wants to show that I'm not a tyrant. Because imagine like Mussolini. Obviously, he has fascistic tendencies. Trump does, but like Mussolini is not going to tell his opponent like, hey, no, like call me a fascist straight up.
Yeah. I think the Mamdani Trump thing, I think he's maybe just trying to start off on a good foot. I think Trump likes the fact that, Mamdani is trying to get like homes built in New York, which was Trump's profession for forever. And he's kind of like, he's a bit of a winner. Like people like him, which I think Trump likes. But my guess is in 6 months from now, like next summer, they are going to be butting heads like crazy. I don't think that love affair that you saw their first meeting, that is not going to last. There's no way. Like Mamdani was, being super nice about it, but they're eventually going to start butting heads, and they're going to be going at each other.
You mentioned on another show about how like we all know and getting matches and stuff. That's just one part of it. Actually retaining them and having the conversation is the big game. And finally, I've been looking for marriage, but also kind of just a little casual because it's been a minute that I'm like getting matches. And then I'm like, when I act it is the whole cliche when I'm acting like, oh, when do you want to meet up? I'm like, oh, I'm down to meet up. They kind of step away versus like, I don't know. I haven't tried it the other way. I'm trying to gauge it. But is it really where like you give less attention, they start chasing you?
Yeah. I mean, women do not like getting, especially like they don't want some guy who's like up their ass, especially a guy they like have never even met in person. No, you don't want to be like, oh, how's your day going? What are you doing? None of that shit. Like you want to be a little. I mean, it's the time tested thing where like women kind of like an asshole. They like a guy who's like kind of a dick to them. And so if you're trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna be the nicest guy on Tinder, like good fucking luck. Good luck.
True.
Yeah.
This 22 or 23-year-old, she literally told me that like when a guy ghosts me, I feel attraction, but when a guy's on me, like I don't know. When they get older, they get more mature, but still human nature.
Yeah, and like it's just human nature. Yeah, it's just like when you play hard to get, and you don't want to be too hard to get because then eventually you're like, well, I can't just never talk to them. But there's something in between. But yeah, like being up some chick's ass is, I think, a big.
Do you think in general the girls should be more? I've heard people on the right, the center, say this that girls should kind of be more into the guy than the guys into the girl because optionality and the fact that it doesn't even make really sense that you're so into a girl just because she's pretty.
There's like a power dynamic.
They probably are just like, all right, bro. Like,
there's like a power dynamic at play, and so if you're
so into your girl, right?
If you're so into your girl, then you just like give away all your power. Especially like any chick, you're like if you're just like so too much about it, then you just have no power in the situation anymore. No leverage.
And real quick, based on to start off to see whether you meet in person or have a phone call, is this basically my buddy was saying field of, I guess I hate the word vibes of how she's responding. Then if it's like going good, I'm gonna call in. Then
I mean, I like when I was dating, like the idea of like doing like a call, like I don't think I ever did that one time. It would just be like, yo, you want to meet up? No, all right, on to the next one. I don't know. It's fucking.
So after some combo, because what I started doing was like 4 or 5 messages like meet up, and that wasn't.
No, that's too. Well. So that's like, right, yeah, that's too soon. I mean, you like kind of test it out, like 5 minutes is too soon, but you don't want to be just like chatting with some girl for a week. Like fuck that. Maybe a day or two, and then if not, just be like, all right, just move on to the next one. There's plenty of chicks. I don't know if you live in a big city or not, but if you're in any sort of large city, you're like, it's just not dealing with this bullshit.
Appreciate that real advice.
Yeah. All right, later, man.
Thanks so much.
Donnish, everybody. All right, 2 more calls. We're gonna make them quick, and then we're gonna wrap this shit up. Phone lines are closed. So thank you, everybody. for joining the show. Appreciate you all very much. Yes.01 says, homie just died suddenly from a heart attack at 31. 31 for a heart attack is not that didn't exist in the past. People were dying of heart attacks at 31 before COVID, but yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious the numbers. It does seem, I'm pretty sure the guy who I was referencing, the comedian in Toronto, I think he was like in his early 30s, which is, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I guess some people just die of fucking heart attacks. Some people have bad hearts. All right, this person's not picking up. Let's go on to the next one. If you guys both answer at the same time, I'm going to fucking lose it. Hello.
Danny, what up?
Well, how's it going? Who am I speaking with?
This is Will from Oregon.
Will from Oregon.
Shitty. Dealt with a bunch of retards today, but that's actually my job.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm officially hanging up It's the Jew tonight.
Oh, no.
I've hit Metzger level of, if you're talking about the Jews, you really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
After finding out, but no, we're going to blame it on women.
Okay. Women.
So after finding out what Israel really is, so the Jewish identity is fiction created by Persia. All Israel is a strategic location for trade, created by the British Empire, and it's all fake and gay.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, a lot of Jews do have a real allegiance to Israel. Like this idea where they go, you know, people are like, oh, I'm not like, I don't dislike Jews. I'm just like an anti-Zionist post like October 7th. You're like, yeah, but probably like 90% of Jews are Zionists. It's really up
right.
there.
But this is the understanding of people don't know what the fuck they are because they have no idea what their religion, religion is Greek for the way, and it just means the way you choose.
Yeah.
People are dumb, and they will latch on to something and turning into something that is completely not and run with that. So I can't trust those motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I post a lot of like kind of, I don't want to say troll like content, but you know, I have some stuff where like, you know, I kind of tongue in cheek Jew stuff, and like some of the people who comment on this shit, I go, you guys are some of the fucking dumbest people on earth. Like you are not representing your side of the argument well. Like with some of the shit that they say, or the fact that like they don't understand like that things are jokes and they're like the butt of the jokes, and they're like, they don't get it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm, you know, like any group.
No, you should do that, and you should do that. And
I mean, I do it.
Doing that.
Yeah.
I do your job, and you should go hard.
Yeah, I do. And I do.
Get hard.
Yeah, I do. But sometimes I go like, man. Sometimes it's not even that. It's less fun where I'm like, you guys like all really like are not in on this at all. Really don't get it, because these are the people who are like, you could never pull the wool over my eyes. I'm like, I'm currently doing it right now.
No, I've worked in mental health for 20 years. I think, and after using my eyes to see, I don't think anybody has any idea what's really going on, and they're dumb. I just apply that to everybody.
That is...
Everybody has Down syndrome.
It's a pretty good heuristic, to be honest. That is, if that's how you go through life, kind of, that's how you frame everything. You go, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
I've learned to set the bar real, real low with everybody I meet, unless one can prove for me to raise that bar.
Yeah.
But really quick, why is it women? So Jesse Lee Peterson said the nature of woman is evil. I think we can both attest to that.
Fun fact, actually, I just recorded an episode of his podcast with him, which I don't know when it comes out, but I just did a show.
Oh, dude, he is.
Were you the one who was
closest you can get to Uncle Ruckus?
Yeah, were you the one who I don't know, someone on Twitter kept tagging Fallen State TV being like, have Danny on, and then they reached out to me. So I don't know if that was you, but
no, I don't know what Fallen State is. Is that JPL?
That's Jesse Lee Peterson's show, yeah. But someone kept messaging them being like, have Danny on, and then they contacted me. He's funny.
Well, I'm glad I do it because it's going to be a hoot.
Yeah, he's funny, man. That guy cracks me up so much.
No, like I said, he's the closest we can get to Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah, Yeah, pretty much. He it was like his questions, or like some of his questions were like, I don't even know how to answer this.
No, but it's so simple. I don't know, but back to I think it really comes down to the worship of the divine feminine. So monotheism is all about the divine feminine. They don't know if Jesus was androgynous or a eunuch.
Okay.
And so it's just, I don't know. Late, I'm stoned.
I feel
a woman is evil, but
well, hey man, isn't that the start of the? Isn't that the fucking original Adam and Eve? She ate the apple, and that's why we aren't living in the Garden of Eden, because fucking women be fucking trifling.
Yeah, and then she tried to blame it on the snake, and she wouldn't take accountability for her actions.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're going biblical. Yeah, you're going biblical with this one.
Well, the Bible, if you look into the Bible, it's fake and gay too, for the most part.
Excellent. All right.
You know what a Christ
Yeah, go ahead.
means?
Go ahead. What was that?
Yeah, so this is what a Christ is. Christ means a salve. So if you Christ somebody, you're applying a medication.
Okay.
I'll just leave with that. So when you have hemorrhoids and you're up there rubbing cream on them, you're just Christing yourself.
You're Christing yourself. Interesting.
Yeah, if anybody wants to check out Lady Babylon on YouTube, he's all about the Greek. Check him out. He's kind of fruity, but he's got good info. So,
all right, Lady Babylon.
Good luck.
All right, thanks, man. All right, hemorrhoids, Christ, all this stuff. That's been the show. That's it, guys. That has been the show. Thank you very much for joining me on this first day of December. Shout out to all the Sagittarii, myself included. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow night on an all-new episode of The Bathhouse. Hopefully. I'm still waiting to hear back about whether the studio is available or not, but I'm hoping it is, because we got a good lineup. Should the gods bless me. That's been the show. Make sure to like, subscribe, sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/lowvaluemail, MAIL. And yeah, look out for this Jesse Lee Peterson episode. I have no idea when it comes out, but I recorded it, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. So it should be out very soon. Shout out to everybody, all the super chatters, all of you for supporting the show. Couldn't do this without you. Am I missing anything? Oh yeah, shout out to Gerard, our producer. Literally best producer in the game. Man, this guy's timestamps, you guys don't even know how good this guy's fucking timestamps are. If you ever watch this show and you go, man, these timestamps are so good, that is all Gerard. So give the man his flowers. All right, good night, everybody. Peace.
I'm really a poet, you know it, all my shit heroic. Empathic abilities, yeah, my face be also stoic. Bleep, blow up, nigga, that just means I'm working. They see me as a leader, so that's why I'm Captain Kirkin. These tracks from the stars, that much is for certain. You can fit his hit if you up or if you hurtin'. I'm raising my stock, not talking my feet in some Birkin. Number Johnny 5, got a fucking short circuit. Bring the track to life when I spit phenomenally. When I hit, she feel that shit in her abdominals. These rappers make me laugh like comic view, they comical. You know I got a ball out, I hit the track running just like Sonic do. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, and they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, then they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit.